Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ARC GR3 Championship Series Season 4. My name is Lateral G, and I'm joined in commentary by...
Hey Samurai, how are you doing today then, Lateral?
I'm doing quite good myself. I know a lot of people watching, and a lot of the drivers are also quite excited for this race.
Yes, indeed, yeah. I think the wait is almost over. All this hype and all that is it's all becoming to be a little bit real now when Season 4 is getting something real. It's been a lot of preparation for this, hasn't there?
That there has done a lot of stuff behind the scenes, as you're seeing right now, the new qualifying bids that we have here, or pre-qualifying bids, I should say, to increase our production value. A lot of work has gone in behind the scenes, so I have to put a big thanks towards a lot of the guys like Techno Guy, who's done a lot of the videos for us, like you saw in the starting soon and the qualifying screen. Daryl, who's done some of the thumbnails for us now. Just a big thanks to everyone behind the scenes. Kev for doing the nice stinger transitions for us. So we hope all of you appreciate that and enjoy it for this upcoming season.
Yeah, a lot of stuff there. The media is doing a lot of work as well. We've all done our part, and also the drivers too. They must put in a lot of practice, a lot of effort in. Like they must have practiced about like well over 100 laps around this track just for this 60 minutes. Like we had drivers practicing like 6 days before the first race. That's how, you know, dedicated and committed these drivers are to get off to such a great start here.
Yeah, but the day after, like almost the day of, we had, well, the day after, because it was a pretty late stream, the car roulette stream.
Yeah.
It was the day after. It was almost several hours a day. There was always a lobby open for people to get the practice in, and people were discovering the cars, their strength, the weaknesses, discovering how to fuel save. So, a lot of people have put in a lot of work to try and put the effort in this season.
Yeah, it's just incredible. See, obviously with the coronavirus, we're not allowed to go out every so often and that, but I mean, yeah, I think it's a tremendous effort from all the drivers to put in their work, and you know, hopefully their hard work, their patience, their practicing will pay off for tonight.
That it hopefully will. Excuse some of the audio issues, still working things out. We've transitioned to new streaming programs, so we moved from Streamlabs back to regular OBS. So if we're a few audio issues, we're trying to work out the kinks here and there, so excuse us for that. But qualifying should be getting underway fairly soon. I'll be watching Lobby A qualifying, and my cohort here, Savile, will be watching Lobby B. Do you think there's going to be any surprises today?
Looking at the practice times, I think Thomas looks pretty good. Ruben is as well. Peugeot, they could pose a bit of a threat to be in Tier A. At the moment, that's all I can see at the moment, but I'm pretty sure you got the other drivers like Thunderpig, Pierre, Crow, like he's done a lot of practice too, will want to be in Tier A as well. So we'll just see after 10 minutes.
Yeah, and looking at Lobby A, looking at the drivers we have, Chili and Hideki-san are actually currently right now at the top of the timing charts for the practice laps. Charles is currently in third. If I just open the live timing right now, yeah, Chili is the fastest with a 128.2. And speaking of fast laps, it's quite possible and almost likely we're going to see the lap record broken today. That was previously set by the one, the only G Thanks Obama back in Season 1.
Indeed, I think it's when you see qualified, especially in Tier A, I think that lap time, I think it was a 128.8, something like that. That is going to get absolutely smashed. Like that's going to be like out of the ballpark, really. I think we could be expecting low 128s, possibly, maybe a 27 in there. We have known that drivers have gone down to that mark, but yeah, I think it's certainly going to be interesting to see what qualified is. I think you've got like loads of championship contenders in Tier A, yeah, loads of them that can win. Already there's been a lot of mind games being played in the chat. You know, Chili's played himself down as a title contender. McCartney wants to think he's the favourite. It's, you know, it's just this is season 4 there. This is just getting started. It's just so good to see. After what, 3.5 months we've been waiting for this, and like, you know, we're just about to kick things off.
Well, speaking of kicking things off, how about we kick things off with the one and the only Saviloy's track guide?
Indeed. As I open the book of the history of the adrenaline racing community, Chapter 4 is about to begin, and the Red Bull Ring makes its return after a 2-season hiatus. 2.7 miles, only 9 corners. This racetrack has pretty much everything: straight lines, uphills, downhills, sharp corners. It may look quite straightforward to you, but believe me, it ain't. Anyways, let's have a look at a lap around the Red Bull Ring. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, this is a lap around the Red Bull Ring with me, my Saviloy, behind the wheel of the Porsche 911. Massive thank you again to Marcus for designing this wonderful looking car. Anyways, up the hill for turn 1, Niki Lauda curve, second gear, absolute attack that corner. You want to get a good drive on the exit for this long straightaway, and this is how long it could be. It's about 10 seconds long. You could possibly make a treat about it. Anyways, we're approaching the penalty burn. It ends just after the kink, right about here. brake at about 100-meter board for turn 2 Remus, first gear, 50 miles an hour. Then back on the power, up to second. You're going to be reaching about 5th gear before going into turn 3 Schlossgold. It's a little bit tricky in this corner because it's downhill braking. Very easy to get the car loose, very easy to go off the track. Second gear, maybe first gear if you want. It's a long, long right-hander. Now this is where it gets a little bit complicated. Turn forward is right here, and now into Ranch, turn 5. Third gear, you might want to take it second through there. Just let the car reach the apex there, use a lot of the curb. Don't use too much because you will pick up a penalty. Now we're into Worth curve. Turn 6, turn 7 is flat out. And now you've got penultimate corners approaching. Turn 8 is ahead of us. Rent up the hill. Then you go down the hill. You go down 1 gear. Maybe it's a 3rd gear. Maybe 2nd if you want. It's a fast right-hander. Again, don't use over curve for turn 9. Red Bull Mobile. And then going through another penalty bird. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a lap around the Red Bull Ring.
We are back, and now qualifying is live here in Lobby A, and it's going to be our Mermaid currently leading the pack here to start his first flying lap here at Red Bull Ring. So let's actually cover some of the teams that we have for this season. We're currently looking at our Mermaid racing crew. Let's make sure I get this right here. Zip Racing behind him, I believe is his teammate. Yes,
It's his teammate.
that's it. After they outdid themselves without livery. The first of our individual drivers currently also on a flying lap with Hideki Sama in the Audi R8. Lot 226. Team Sandy Balls. Behind them, we have Wise Guy and the other Corvette team with Scudetto and Powerpuff Girls. And Bugatti, a favorite to possibly win today with Polestar Racing Team. Mercedes AMG. Charles, the one and only Porsche team on the grid this year. Representing, let's make sure I get his team name right. At Apex. We have Chile with what he would like to be called Team Kraken. However, they were late to introducing their team name, so unfortunately their team name is
Pleb Racing.
Pleb Racing, I guess. So let's see, let's come across the line here for Lobby A. Let's see, it looks like Bugatti is currently on pole by 3/10, with Wise Guy in second. It's a bit of a surprise. Seems to be a lot from him in the practice lines, but he's doing solid so far. Kobu provisionally third. Nissan GTR. Make sure I get his team name correct here. That is Iced Tea Racing. And I have a question in the chat from Let's Joe. Yes, this is qualifying. Qualifying is live here in Lobby A. Only 10-minute qualifying before we start the race. If you haven't seen it before on the channel, we have a bit of a surprise for the start of the races this season. No longer will we be having standing starts. We will be having manual rolling starts.
That's something that will obviously be a disadvantage to the Mercedes or the Citroen drivers, because you know how awesome they can get off the line, and it's also an advantage for the Porsche drivers or the Jaguar drivers, because usually they don't get off the line at all that well. So to make it in a level playing field, they decided to go for a manual start, which is, I think, is the right idea.
I think it is too. It definitely makes things more exciting. It makes things more realistic to how a lot of endurance or GT racing is in real life. So it's definitely more interesting that we're going to have that here. There's actually runners here for qualifying. Let's see what lap times are going to be as they come across the line. Will they improve? Charles will actually go provisionally hold a 27.8. Wow. Where did he get that from?
A 27.8. Well, like I said in the stream, we said qualifying, the lap qualifying record, we smashed it. There you go. Like nearly that's like a second quicker.
That is
a second quicker.
It's surprising to me, considering Charles this entire time is saying he couldn't get better than a 28.2 on low fuel, and here he is, the start of qualifying, and he just did a 27.8. I think he might be done qualifying here. I think he says that's my one lap. I'm not going to get better than that. For rejoining though.
Yeah, and he got into Chile. But that's just the power beat of the slipstream, isn't it?
It might just be. I think he's done.
think he's calling it a day. I think he's saying, that's it. You can settle it out now, lads.
27.8. That's one hell of a lap.
I mean, we were like seeing throughout the days prior up to this that he was struggling in that Porsche. Like I was in the party chat with him, he just constantly complained and went that he just cannot drive the Porsche anywhere. He's just nailed that lap time.
He absolutely has, and as we mentioned, he's pulled off to the side of the track. He's done. He's like, my qualifying's done. I'm going to take a break. You guys try and beat that lap. But as that happens, Savoy, you're watching Lobby B. Any updates on that?
Well, it's only just, well, Thomas is just going through turn 7 now. He was the first to cross the line to start his flying lap, so no times yet as of now, but there's about 7 minutes to go. So come back to me within like a couple of minutes, so when there'll be some lap times to now.
Again, sorry for the few audio issues, still working things out with this transition. Hopefully everything should be better now. Let's have a look, see. Bugatti just made a change of tires here. So he's currently still provisionally second. Wise Guy third in the Corvette. Kobu currently fourth in his GTR. The Stig in fifth. Iceman currently sixth overall. New to Tier A. Took a season off. Took season 3 off. Heavy's back here. Qualified in Lobby A. So let's see what he can do here. We have Mod 226 in the Citroen. Hideki-sama, as I mentioned, in the R8. Mermaid, also in the Corvette. Techno Guy, our Tier C champion from Season 3, qualified into the Lobby A.
So the driver getting better and better, isn't he, Techno Guy?
That he is. And a good statistic I would like to point out is actually, in just Season A alone, we have 3 previous drivers champions in ARC. We have Dan's, our Season 1 champion, and then we have Nugatti and Techno Guy, who are Season 3 Tier B and Tier C champions, respectively.
But the question is, will one of them be champion for this season, or will there be a new name to the crown for Season 4? Or will it be like the archives of Dan's winning it in Season 1 with Lemmy, Season 2 and Alex Rogers in Season 3?
They'll be very close, as there is currently 2 minutes remaining left in qualifying here. Provisional pole at 27, absolutely smashing the lap record set by G. Thanks Obama back in Season 1. Almost a second faster, and even beat his fastest lap in the race by a few tenths.
I was just about to say, I think with this whole 10-minute thing, it's left a lot of the drivers panicking, hasn't it? Because normally you get like some of the drivers with the fuel burning, but in this case, they're not now, aren't they? Because they're just going straight at it.
That they are. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how everything is going to end up here, especially with the manual rolling starts, the 2 manufacturers this season per team. So you're going to see that in some places, like I mentioned. There's 2 teams of Citroens this year, so I should have covered this earlier, admittedly, but instead of this year being 1 team is locked to 1 manufacturer, now there's 2 teams per manufacturer. So that's why we see 2 different Citroen teams on the field this year.
Yeah, I was just about to say before when qualifying started, was what would be your idea? Maybe to put in a banker lap in, and then maybe make a pit stop, put on some fresh tyres, and then go and try and beat it, and at least got another 2 laps out of it. But no, as you can see there, Charles just went straight for it, didn't he?
He absolutely went straight for it. I don't even think he knows how he went that fast. That was a bit out there, as there's currently only a few seconds left in qualifying. Currently, Charles pole, Dan's second, Nugatti third, Chili fourth, Wise Guy fifth, Kobu sixth, Hideki seventh, Stig eighth, Law ninth, Iceman 10th, Alex 11th, Mermaid 12th, Mini Conan, a new driver, a rookie driver for ARC here in 13th, and Techno Guy in, let's see if I, whoops, just the wrong button there, in 14th. There's 10 minutes are now up, so qualifying should now be over. So the last Charles will be crossing the line, the first driver to finish his qualifying.
I don't think he's going to improve his lap time. No.
He definitely won't. Let's see behind him, there's going to be Dance, he won't improve, and Bugatti behind him. Let's see the next driver, see if I can find out who that is. Yeah, the notification now from Dance.
Off the Remus there. Who's that?
Remus, let's I believe that's them.
Oh,
That was the Dan's and Charles. They finished their qualifying. See the rest of the people as they cross the line can be improved. Let's see if I can actually find the cars crossing the line here. I've got all over the place. So let's see what Chili can do. Will he improve? Coming up to the line, he will not. Back behind him. Let's see, will it be Nugatti? He will improve, but he was close. Behind them was Law in 9th. Law seems to have improved to 6th place. There's Kobu. He only goes best for 7th. Back behind them, let's see what these other 2 drivers can do. There's Mini Conan and Techno Guy. Will Techno Guy improve from last place in Lobby A? He will not. Mini Conan will not either. It looks like we have one more driver on a flying lap. Let's see if I can find who that is here. It's going to be Iceman, but he seems to be ghosted, so I believe that's qualifying done for Lobby A.
Lobby B is still going. We've got 2 minutes left to go. Thomas is setting the fastest lap in Lobby B with a 1 minute 28.590. Second is Kuja for Polestar Racing. Nearly half a second away from Thomas with a 1:29 dead. He just went 20 thousandths quicker than his previous time. Ruby is third, over half a second away from Thomas. And you got Robocopy with a 1:29.248. And Thunderpig Pierre for Ronald, Mission Ronald, 1:29.365. Then Matty, one of the reserve drivers, I think he was. Havoc in 8th, Haggis in 9th, Crow Magna in 10th. For 1:29.457, he didn't improve on his lap time. And it's MG Walter 12th, Wiley Coyote 12th, Jelly Bear 13th, and Knoxville 14th places. We've got like 1 minute to go in Lobby B.
Well, as you're seeing on screen right now are the qualifying results for Lobby A. As we mentioned, Charles on pole by a good couple tenths there, but we see him in chat right now mentioning that he got quite a massive tow, and we know, and you know, Savoy is driving the 911 RSR quite a bit. It's not quite the best in straight line speed, so having that massive tow definitely helps. But we got Dan's in second with the 28 flat in the AMG. He's another, I believe, no, not an independent driver. He is racing for team. Let me get this right here if I can find the chat. He is Interstellar Racing Team. So there he is in second. Nugatti in third for Polestar. Fourth is CSX Wise Guy in the Corvette for Scudera Powerpuff Girls Law. Good qualifying for him in 5th place in this GT by Citroen. Actually, no, excuse me. Looks to be Chili pull off with it. They're 28.3, so that would slot him in 4th, not Wise Guy. So Wise Guy would be 5th. Law could be 6th. Kobu 7th. Hideki 8th. Stig 9th. Iceman 10th. Mermaid 11th. ACZ Alex 12th, Mini Conan 13th, and Techno Guy 14th. So that's your Lobby A qualifying.
Just about to say that's the time up for Lobby B, but all of them apart from Thomas is just about to start off their last lap. I'm looking at Kuja at the moment, 2nd place, 1:29 dead. Like I said, still nearly half a second away from Thomas's time, which I think Thomas's time might be good to be in TNA, isn't it? 1:28.590.
That would put him currently between Hideki and Steg, who are 8th and 9th. So yeah, he would make it into Lobby A.
Right, good stuff there from Thomas there. So Kobu will have at least a teammate going in as you sip something quite badly.
Sorry.
Looks like 3, 4, 5 cars, but they've not crossed the line, but looks like they've not improved. Although Ruben has 1:29.033, he goes to 3rd fastest. Jerry Bear goes up to 3rd, 1:29.130, but he's also setting up. Oh, Knoxville with a nice lap time, 1:28.619. He is less than a 10th away from Thomas's fastest lap time. So Knoxville with a stunning lap time. And Matty goes 5th, 1:29.158. Sorry, he goes 6th. I do apologise. Thomas's DMC's parked into the pit lane. Robocopy, he's finished 1:29.196. He will be 7th. Then Thunderpig, he's slowed down 1:29.2. So it looks like to me your top 3 are Thomas, then Knoxville, and then Kuja. Kuja with a 1:29 dead. Would that put him in TNA as well?
29 dead. I think he might be at the back of the grid. It's going to be close to call. We have two 29 deads. We have Mini Conan with a 29.067, and then Techno Guy.
That'd be good.
Then Techno Guy behind him, who would be last in Tier A with a 29.089.
Yeah, that's good because Kuja will be in because he's exactly a 1 minute 29.000. So Kuja's in. Knoxville's definitely in with that last lap time. Jerry Bear 129.1. Is that good?
129.1. Nope, there is no one in Lobby A with a 29.1.
So unfortunately, Jerry Bear must have missed out by what's the last lap time?
129.089.
Oh, and he did a 129.130, so he must have missed out by half a tenth. So unlucky though for Jerry Bear, and quite possibly we might be seeing Techno Guy in Lobby B by the looks of it.
Quite possibly. I think Mini Conan might follow Lobby B too, with Tommy and I believe Knoxville qualifying the Lobby A. So I believe that might knock them out. Yeah, and Kujar. So I believe Mini Conan and Techno Guy might be knocked out. I believe Kujar would be the last driver in Lobby A. I believe.
Possibly. Quite possibly.
Well, I'm getting I'm getting something from Alex Rogers here in chat that says someone in Lobby C has a 29 flat as well.
Oh, okay then. We haven't coverage the TOC like last season, like I would have, and Green would have done Tier B and Latter would have done Tier A, but so that could possibly kick Kuja out of Tier A then, if one of the drivers in TOCs did a 129 dead.
That is very possible. So we're just gonna wait on the all the qualifying results to come forward, be compiled, so we can figure out who's in what lobby. Any surprises from you in Lobby B?
Knoxville, in particular, Knoxville. What flag is he? That looks like Bulgaria to me. I think that is. Yeah, I mean, he was dead last. I'm probably presuming he was fuel burning, looking at those lap times. But then he just set that 128.6. He was like nearly 400 slower than Thomas's time, and he did. I think he must have fuel burned that lap. I mean, in that qualifying. So that's a stunning effort from Knoxville. Thomas, well, we know what Thomas is like, so that's no surprise. I'm definitely surprised to see Robocopy down there in 6th place. I thought he would have been quicker with that 129.1, but I don't think he's going to be Tier A. So on the basis of that, and also Matty as well. Matty, nice lap time. I tell you what, that's actually quite close between Jerry Bear to Thunderpick, possibly. Yeah, about 3 places, and they're separated by about a tenth and a half between them. That's all very close between them, but still, that's not good enough for them to be in Tier A. But yeah, I think my surprise definitely Knoxville for me.
Well, I got the notification 5 minutes ago from Dan's in the Discord that they'll be taking a 10-minute break, so we got another 5 minutes to go before they sort the lobbies. So speaking of Knoxville, I happen to have the Season 4 newsletter here made by our very own Kobu GT, and he had Knoxville here when asked, what are you most excited for when looking at Season 4? Knoxville himself says, as it is his first season here, he's excited to just start racing, see where he is relative to others, and do his best. Well, that's quite a good lap if that's your very first season here, going from possibly qualifying the Lobby A.
Yeah, I mean that's a good debut, isn't it?
Especially when you look at the team's championship and his teammate DM Charles qualified on pole.
Start on the pole, and if you put it in that context, he's only nearly a second away from Charles. But I don't know if Knox has put in the effort in as what has Charles done over the course of the week.
It's someone who I do know has put in a lot of effort over the course of the week was Predjay. I'm not quite sure where he qualified or where he finished, but I was watching him do a lot of qualifying laps, and he's been putting in a lot of time here. I believe he qualified into Lobby C, so he might have been the one driver that Alex Rogers did mention qualified with the 29 flat. But I remember watching him do 28.5s and 28.4s in that Mercedes AMG. So we could see a Tier C driver move up into Lobby A once we get those times sorted.
It's exactly what happened to Techno Guy when he won the Group C championship, didn't he? When he pulled that absolutely stunning effort at Spa to make him qualify in Tier A. I tell you who else I'm a little bit disappointed at as well was CRubennnn. I know he's putting a lot of effort in, but I can understand why he's down there in like 11th place after Group B is because he's normally with a steering wheel, but his steering wheel died like a couple of days ago or something like that. So he's trying to get the grips of learning the controller, which is obviously a bit of a big difference going from steering wheel to controller. So, you know, hopefully CRubennnn will improve as the season goes on, and hopefully see him in Tier A, where he should be, because we did see him a lot last season.
I have here from Kobu that says Noxby just missed out on Tier A by 2%. He was 1% behind Robo, who was 1% behind Techno.
That's okay, that's interesting. A 128.6.
Because it says here Techno guy is a 29 flat.
29 flat, and Noxby did a 128.6. So by my reckonings, Noxby's 3 tenths quicker.
That would be how numbers work. I'm not sure where Kobu is exactly getting his numbers from, but that'd be how it is. And I do have it here from Noxby himself that he's Macedonian, but has a Bulgarian PSN.
Okay then. Oh, so that's a new country. Another new country into the list at ARC.
Speaking of countries, I'm just happen to be looking at the leaderboard here for Lobby A, and on pole we have an American. Second place we have an Englishman. Well, Scottish technically in Dan's. Nugatti,
and also
Norwegian.
Charles is Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, he's from. Yes, he has the American PSN, but he's from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Wise Guy from America, Law from the UK, Kobu from America. Then we have Hideki from Brazil, Stig from Sweden, Iceman from Germany, Mermaid from the Netherlands, ACZ Alex from the UK, Mini Conan from America, Tecto Guy from Ireland, and then Chile from the UK. We have quite a diverse cast of countries here racing in ARC.
Indeed, and in Group B we've got Noxby from Bulgarian but Macedonian, Robocopy Dutch, Thunderpig Canadian, Pierre who's French, and Havoc who's Danish. And you got Thomas and Ruby both Belgian. You know, I mean, ARC has pretty much nearly gone global. It's since the start of the ARC. I mean, it's incredible to think that, you know, it's gone from when it was the first time to look at it now. You've got like drivers from all over the world competing in this. I mean, it's amazing.
It definitely is. If I'm not mistaken, just the other day ago, we had a very special and specific rookie test that we host. I believe it was for a Japanese driver. So I believe we're starting to get all 3 regions, or all 3 global regions represented in ARC here fairly soon.
I mean, and also some of the drivers that we had before. You had Thanks Obama, who was Greek, and then you had Not DP, who was Indian. I'm sure we had a Latvian driver before. We had an Australian driver before. Did you say Hideki San was as well? Did you
Brazilian.
say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brazilian. Yeah. So yeah,
we've had G Thanks Obama, who was from Greece.
Yeah. And we had Asazon, who was also Greek. Yeah, it's definitely gone global, hasn't it?
It definitely has. And it's great to see it grow, and especially when all the effort that we put in. And I want to stress that the effort that everyone puts into making these streams and all these events go as smoothly as possible is just absolutely amazing. No one gets paid for any of this. This is all strictly a passion project for every driver, for every member on the council, for every mod in the Discord, for everyone making videos for the stream. This is all just a passion project. No one is getting paid for any of it, so I have to give absolute props to everyone putting in as much effort as they can to make sure this all just goes off without a hitch.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like one big family, isn't it? We all get along great. There's no arguments to that whatsoever. It's just fun to be around with, you know.
Yeah, it definitely is, and the guys that we have racing here are just some of the top guys. They don't race in the manufacturers and stuff like that, but if they were to, they would be racing in that top split. Some of these guys, when they actually want to do and put the time in for those daily times, they're top 10 any day of the week.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, we have Ruby in the commentating booth. Ruby, how was that lap time then?
Good evening, fellas.
Hello.
That was quite disappointing, I must say. Just a little. I expected to go below the 129th.
Yeah, I was seeing that in the practice. You went in the 128. I think it was like a high 128, and then when you did the qualifying, it was like a low 29. So, what would that be down to?
And I'm quite nervous, I must admit, Savoy.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird,
So
huh?
for a guy that experience to still be feeling a bit of nerves, that's
Yeah.
weird, like.
It's been a while since I've raced in the season, so coming back to this, and I feel like I have to prove something, you know, because I'm that experienced driver, and you know.
Well, I mean, you were racing last week in the team versus team, and you did a phenomenal job. It was like the old Ruby, what we saw in season 1.
Yeah, and now you'll see the whole other side probably. But you know, we'll try to manage it, and we'll be positive. It'll be fun.
Is it because you're not in your baby, the Beetle, this year, but you're in the Golf this time around?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't want to blame the car for everything, but I think a good driver can handle any car. But I didn't really consider taking the car because I was so taken up by practice for that TVT event, and it was either this car or the FT1, the Toyota, or the Hyundai, and you know, out of those three, I just went with this one without practicing, which I thoroughly regret right now. But you know, we'll see what we can do.
Well, compared to your Beetle, how do you find the Golf in comparison? Where is it similar? Where does it differ?
It's actually a completely different car. Well, as I mentioned to you, Lateral, before, I just realized that it's an MR car, an MR-driven car, and I thought it was an FR. So that's one difference. It's really sketchy on the acceleration. I think it's even worse than the Nissan GTR, the way that the back kicks out. It's not as stable as the Beetle, but it does have 7 gears as well. So I hope to make good use of that on this circuit where you can slipstream a lot, huh?
We were just mentioning this, so away from like the racing and all that Lato and I were talking about the people that from different nationalities and how ARC has grown. Like, what's your perspective? Because we've got like loads of we've got Brazilian, we've got a Norwegian, American, British. I mean, in Group Lobby B, we had a Danish, a Macedonian, got a Trinidad and Tobago there. Like, why is ARC being so global now?
Well, that's a tough question. For starters, I think it's great that we have so many people involved, and I think that's all also because of the work of the people that they put in here. You know, we are, from what I've seen compared to other communities, we're very organized. So that's one thing, and we're very kind as well. You know, if people come in, we don't argue. You know, we just talk, we make fun. But maybe also the quality of racing. You know, I think ARC is getting a name out there, and from a personal point of view, I've been here since the beginning, day 1 almost. It's actually day 2, but yeah, it's amazing that the way this has grown. I hope one day we can really become like an esports team or something. That would be awesome. But we can dream, right?
Okay, live and prosper.
All right, so we have some of these times have been posted. I'm going to try and grab them here so we can show them on the stream. So let me just get these images all set up and ready to go. If you want to start reading them off, Savoy, that'd be great.
What about is it?
In the race director chat.
Right, let me just pull it up here. Just give us a few seconds. Oh, come on. Race director chat. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it will be. So, starting on the pole is, as predicted, Chucky 127.892. Absolutely smashed that lap time from out of the ground. Then it's Dan's in the Mercedes. I forgot what team he's called again. I keep forgetting the team names. 128.029, which is still blitzingly quick. Third is Nagati there for Polestar, 128.866. Then it's Chile for Pleb Racing, 128.349. Wise Guys with a nice lap time, 128.412, the first of the Chevrolets. Then Law, solid qualifying for him in 6th, 128.441. Only 2 thousandths quicker than Kobu for Ice-T Racing, 128.443. Then it's Hideki Sama, the first of the individual drivers, with excuse me, a 1:28.522, 6 tenths slower than Chucky's time. Then Thomas, the first of the drivers to be in Lobby B, 1:28.590. Then Stiggy will start 10th with a 1:28.601. Knox V 11th with a 1:28.619. Then it's Iceman. You said they're making his return. Nice effort from him. 1:28.699. Mermaid just squeaked in with a 1:28.783, and Alex Gaming only barely 1:28.864. And look at the comparison. Less than a second separating first to 14th.
That is a super close grid, but I'm going to cover what we got in Lobby B here. We have Kujer, 15th overall in pole position for Lobby B with a 1:29 flat. We have Predjay in 16th with a 1:29.013. We have Ruby in 3rd place in Lobby B. Mini Conan 4th for Lobby B. Techno Guy 5th. Jerry Bear 6th. Maddie in 7th. Robocopy 8th. Nihilus in 9th. Thunderpig in 10th. Pierre in 11th. Daryl in 12th. Havoc in 13th. Haggison 14th. Cro-Magner. Poor qualifying result from him to be safe, to be sure, and was 15th, and Rafal in 16th.
And look how close out they are. 6 tenths separating that tier. Very close there. 6 tenths. Then, am I covering tier C? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay then. So MG Walter will start on the pole, 1:29.702. Then it's the Baldy one beside him. Looks like I was going to say that was half a second quicker, but it's not. 1:29.820. Hood Stack. That's a new driver, isn't it?
Yep, that it is.
Yep, 1:28.839, and it's Wiley Coyote, who was racing in Lobby B for the qualifying. Eternicus, one of the veteran drivers, if you will. That's a nice qualifying for him, starting 5th, 1:29.986, sorry. Venom Q State just getting into the 1:29s with a 1:29.998. Then it's Chris F 1:32.94, Notorious DRE 1:33.47, FTA another new driver 1:30.383, Pinkerphone 1:37.56. Then it's the Furious 2 1:38.64, Hazel Wall with 1:31.127. How do you say that name?
Manikai
1:31.485, and Jules Maximus making also his debut 1:32.006. Defiant didn't set a lap time because I'm guessing this connection has been a little bit iffy now and again.
That it has. So that is your qualifying results. Once again, there it is. At the let me just make sure this is so we can see everyone here. There we go. Ooh, there we go. Gotta move the image around a little bit, but then, as we mentioned, Charles on top, Dan second, and Nugatti in third. That's going to be quite an interesting start here, especially because this isn't what we've had in previous seasons, like we mentioned before. This is the manual rolling start. So this isn't what we've seen in Season 3 and Season 2, where the Porsche goes basically nowhere off the line, especially here at Red Bull Ring, where the first corner is up a hill. So we could potentially see Charles still hold on to that lead through T1, but whether or not he'll hold it going into T2, T3, because it's a long straight, and with Dan's and Nugatti and Chili and Wise Guy behind him, and all in cars that are admittedly faster in a straight line than the Porsche, it's going to be quite interesting. I think everything's going to not kick off in turn 1, but kick off in the back into Ramis, turn 2, turn 3.
But the thing is, though, is what you said before, that it is a manual start. Since he's starting on the pole, he can dictate when to start this, when to get going. So Charles will hopefully still go into lead going into turn 1, and then it's just anyone's guess if they can make a way around Charles in his Porsche. But that was a solid effort there. As I'm seeing on my screen, Hideki-sama not getting off, so hopefully that's not a problem for Hideki.
On my screen, he happened to get away. This is the stuck. This is the stuck check right now, but it looks like everyone has gotten away on my side of things.
Okay, I maybe need to clear my cache. I do apologize. I'll come back.
Yeah, everyone's away on my side of things, so they are doing a stuck check right now, but they're also practicing the formation lap. So we're going to be happy to bring that to you soon. It's going to be quite the sight looking at it right now, seeing all these cars on track. Notice the tail doing the warm-up lap. It's going to be something special this year. So they're halfway around the lap right now, weaving their cars, making sure they keep heating the tires. It's gonna be so good to bring it to you this year. But what do you have for predictions this time around? What do you think is gonna happen? Who do you think is gonna take it?
Did you have to say that?
No fence sitting this time. You have to pick someone.
I think as much as they put in a lot of practice and effort in, I could see maybe Dan's or Nugatti or maybe Chile. I don't know if Charles can hold that portion there, although, as I said before, he is getting a lot better since driving the Porsche. I would have thought Melmead would have been a bit of a shout because he's putting a lot of practice in, but he's starting quite far down the field. So yeah, I would say I'm gonna say Chile on this one.
I'm gonna probably agree with you, especially watching the practice races that we've been running all throughout the week so far. One of the biggest strengths to that Citroen was just simply how much it saves fuel at that 7th gear. This season is going to be a one-stop season, and we didn't cover it before, but you're only allowed to use the one set of softs in the race, but it's only going to be a one-stop race. So being able to save that much fuel at that 7th gear, just to short shift this entire race, you gain so much time in a pit stop. I wouldn't say it'd be out of the realm of possibility to gain 7-8 seconds just on fueling up less in the pit stop. So it's going to come down to whether or not Chile can get away good enough on the start and maintain that gap he has. But I think Chile, if it's a close race at the start, that it's going to be Chile that might take the win today.
I mean, there's one thing that I'd like to mention up as well was you were I'm hoping you were watching this, but on Tuesday night we were like practicing now, weren't we? But then they were doing like a practice race. And I think it was late on in the race, there was an absolutely amazing battle between Chile and Nugatti. And, they were swapping lead positions hand over foot. It was like amazing to watch. And I mean, Chile actually won that race, but Nugatti was right behind them. And I was like, that was really good to watch. Them two drivers, two of the best drivers that ARC has to offer at the moment, putting on a show like that. I mean, that was incredible to watch, and I'm hoping it's going to be the same here tonight.
Well, I hope it will be too. You want to take some notes on who's starting on the medium tires this time around?
Right then, so as of now, I am seeing that Stig looks like he is on mediums. Iceman also. Charles, the poster, is going to start on mediums. That's a bit of an interesting call.
I have to agree with that call. That's a bit interesting, especially when...
Quite interesting, yeah. Thomas is starting on mediums. Iceman, I said, is. Alex is also starting on the mediums. I'm just looking at some of the other drivers here because they keep going. They keep passing one another. Knoxville looks like he's starting on soft. Stigs, like I says, it's on the mediums. I think over rest. Colby was also starting on mediums, and Wise Guy starting on soft. So I think you got about at least 6, maybe half of the field going to start on the medium tires, but I'm very interested to see that Chucky's deciding to go for mediums.
Well, we know he's made that work in the past, especially in the final round of the MX-5 Championship. Started on the mediums, we thought it was the wrong call, and saved the softs to the end and use the speed that he gained from it to win the race. Whether or not that'll work here, it's going to be up in the air. It's going to be hard to say, but starting on pole, not being able to defend your position as well as you'd like to, that's going to be a hard one. Maybe that's what he's betting on. Maybe he wants to fall back a few positions, sit in the slipstream, let it pull him along, save a bit of fuel like what Chile does, and then switch to the softs and then blow by everyone. It's hard to say, but looks like we're going to start to get underway here in a few moments. So we can't wait to bring you this start. It looked like the start was pretty good here as we're getting the countdown now for the start. Our bets are on Chile to take this one on fuel saving, but it's going to be quite an interesting race.
Yes, indeed. And I hope for the people that are watching on YouTube, sit back and just enjoy the show. That's all I'm just going to say about that.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Charles on pole, Dan's in second, Nugatti third, Chile fourth, Wise Guy fifth, Law sixth, Kobu seventh, Hideki eighth, Thomas 9th, Stig 10th, Noxv 11th, Iceman 12th, Mermaid 13th, and Alex 14th. We're going to wait for them to set off to start the formation lap here momentarily, and it's going to be quite a sight for everyone watching.
So they'll have to go to pit speed of, what is it, 18 miles an hour, isn't it?
Somewhere, let's see if we can find that.
What is it? I think it's around about 80 miles an hour, and then when they get to where in between turn 7 and 8 is, that is, oops, change the track, apologies. Through where after the growth curve, turn 6 and turn 7, in the middle of turn 7 in the rig curve, bottom corner, that's when they will start to go in double file formation.
And there you have it. That's the scene we're going to see come the start of the race. That's just absolutely beautiful to see here in Gran Turismo.
Don't forget, when we get past, like when we get into that zone of like getting into double file, they're not allowed to weave the tyres. This is perfectly fine, but they're not allowed to do it in the middle of after turn 7 and before turn 8 when they get into double file formation.
They do have to weave the tires here. Normally, when you race, if you were used to running the manufacturers or drivers' championship for the FIA races here in Gran Turismo, normally you don't have to weave the tires. I have to admit, up until I saw this formation lap, I didn't used to think tires could really get that cold until you start to run the formation lap and you start to see that blue rectangle around those front tires, and you realize your tires do get cold, so you do need to weave a little bit.
It's not as big as what Project Cars is basically, but I'm wondering if all the drivers have set their fuel mixtures to 6 just to save that bit of fuel.
Well, if that is the smartest thing to do, I'm sure Chile has done that for sure. So here we start to see them form up, starting to get side by side. Oh, that's such a good sight to see.
That is, isn't it? Here we go then. So now we're going to go down to about 50 miles an hour into red curve, the penultimate corner. Don't forget, Charles will start on the pole. He can dictate when to start going, and then it's just down to the rest of them if they can get going as well. But here we go then. Charles on the front row with Dan's Porsche versus Mercedes. We are about to get underway for season 4 right about now.
Let's see Charles getting underway. He sets the pace, starts to get the jump on the rest of the field. The guy's going to try and go up the inside of Dan's, trying to take second place at the start of the race. He seems to get that done quite good, but Charles goes wide and he might lose 2 positions here. He has to be careful.
He's definitely wide. They're 3 abreast going into turn 2.
Charles loses almost 3 positions because of his mistake through turn 1. So it looks like Chile's about to move up into 3rd place. Dan's is trying to take back that defensive on the inside. Dan's around the outside. Let's see if he can still hold on his position. There's a bit of mistakes going.
Contact in turn 2.
Let's see if we can get what happened there with the replay. So it looks like Mermaid might have gotten the worst of it. Let's see what happened.
Wise guys might have. He's all the way down to 12th. Let's see if I can get a replay.
I'm going to try and grab a replay here, but there's still a bunch of battling going on back and forth. Charles up into 7th. So Charles lost out quite a bit on that as well, but he made some contact going into turn 3 of Schlossgold. He made some side-to-side contact there, so stewards are going to have to keep their eyes out here. So Charles not quite too happy starting on those medium tires, I think.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I thought it would have been a bit of a mistake for Charles to start on those medium tires, but I was looking back at turn 2 because I seen that Wise Guys was in 5th place at the time before the incident happened. It looked like to me Hideki Sama made a late lunge and his car is absolutely scratched on the front, so I would say the culprit with the incident in turn 2 would have been Hideki, as Wise Guys coming into pits right now.
Actually, no. Looking at the start, I think it was Noxv all the way back there that I think might have caused it.
Okay.
I think it was just he braked way too late. I think it was, but I think it was ended up being an accordion effect with all the cars in front of him. Let's see if I can pick him up here and see if I can get it from his point of view. Here he is going up here, so he's behind Stig. Yeah, he brakes way too late. Back of Stig. Stig goes into Thomas. Thomas into Hideki, and then.
Oh, okay. It's just a domino effect, then, isn't it? Yeah.
Just the domino effect.
My apologies there. That was all Knoxville's fault there. So Ice Guy's just getting the pits all the way down in last place. But there you go. The top 3 have already pulled away. Law's up to an incredible 4th place.
That he is. Ugatti leads, Dan second, Chile third, as you mentioned, Law fourth, Thomas a bit of a distant fifth, but he's got his teammate behind him with Kobu and then Charles right behind them, and his Porsche trying to stay in the draft, and then Hideki behind them. So we're starting to see some packs start to form here as there's 55 minutes remaining. There we see ACC Alex and the only Jaguar up in Tier A, currently in 9th. As you see Iceman and Noxby battling side by side. That's a hairy place to go side by side, but looks like Noxby's going to get the place from Iceman. That looks like a good pass.
Yeah, nice pass there from Noxby. But as you see, the Alex game has picked up a half a second penalty. He must have shortcut the corner.
And it looks like
and so it was Noxby too. It was
Iceman and then pick up the penalty. So this will be a good time to demonstrate our penalty zones for this race. The first one will be on the start and finish straight, so both Iceman and ACC Alex will have to serve it there. And the next one will be between turn 1 and will be, I believe, turn 3 or turn 2 of Ramus.
Turn 2, just after the kink. So looks like they both set the penalty, so that's all good going.
So still the lead. Gotti leads ahead of Dan, Chile, and then Law, and then it's a 3.2 second gap to Thomas, TT in 5th. Behind him, Kobu, Charles, but Kobu getting a little squirrely, so there we see Charles trying to capitalize on that. Hideki-sama Malone Audi R8 in the series in 8th.
And Iceman's just made a nice pass at Alex Gaming, passing him in the inside of Remus to put him up into 11th place. So Ice-T Racing, I think they've got 3 cars in this race, haven't they? Ice-T Racing. Whoa, look at Charles getting sideways.
He's really
nowhere for
struggling.
Hideki to go.
He's really struggling with the rear of that Porsche on those medium tires.
Definitely is. Again, speed jumps and he ran a bit wide there through turn 5 at once, so got to be careful, because if you put all 4 wheels off the track, that will be a half a second penalty.
You see Noxby in 9th, but I think Noxby's actually closing up really quickly to Hideki-sama. Is Hideki on the medium tires? No, he's not.
Oh, Hideki just got on a bit of contact with Charles, but you can see Charles is definitely struggling again, little sideways. Hideki's all over the back, is on board with Hideki.
I think it's interesting how fast Noxby is actually closing up to the back of Hideki-sama here. I mean, Hideki he's on the softs, but Charles is on the medium, so I think Hideki's being held up by Charles here.
Not to mention Kobe just ahead, he's also on medium tyres as well as Thomas, so like you've got at least 2 cars, the top 2 leading in that battle are all on medium tyres. And you've got Hideki and Noxby both on the soft tyres, and they're just trying to find a way through, but obviously their Porsches are a bit wide at the back.
Noxby's already closed up to the back of Hideki. Hideki goes defensive, Noxby looks to the outside, Hideki gives him a little bit of a bump, but you can try to make a pass around the outside, maybe go for the undercut. Noxby around the outside of turn 3, but he can't get it done, and into the gravel trap he goes.
And held on to a nice save. I don't know if he must have got squeezed off of turn 3, let's see. Yeah, there was contact.
They're side by side there, you see Hideki. I think, he just carried too much speed, and I think he went off on his own.
Yeah.
Maybe Hideki spooked him a little bit, but there was definitely room for him on track.
Yeah, there was definitely a gap for the portion there. It was just that Noxby carried a bit too much speed in their Schlossberg.
Looking further up here. Bugatti still leading 51.
Law's picked up a penalty. Sorry, Law picked up a penalty. I don't know where he got it from. Just gonna have a look at a replay. It must have been the last corner. With the Red Bull Mobile, yeah, he's stuck. Yeah, he got about half a second penalty for that. So Law, bit of a disappointment. Oh no, he's got a second penalty. My bad. That's one of the corners that we need to talk about is Red Bull Mobile, the last turn. It's very easy to pick up a penalty there. You don't want to shortcut it, or you don't want to go too wide off the corner, because again, you will get a penalty for that.
Yeah, it's definitely a very tricky corner. It's tighter than it looks. You really have to get the entry absolutely right to carry the most speed through it. It's deceptively slow to make sure you don't get a penalty, but if you take it too fast, it's super easy to get one. It's a very, very tricky corner.
Side by side for 2nd place, Charles versus Hideki. Hideki managed to squeeze his Audi in there. I think there was some contact being made at turn 3, but Hideki is finally through. Want to get a replay on that?
There's Hideki. Hideki, long way back.
He was lunging. He was lunged. Oh.
Stewart's might not like that one. I don't think Charles liked that one too much either, but he did get his nose in.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a long way back. That was like a last lap lunge, that was. And I know Charles would not like that, considering...
But he might do it again here to Kobu. He thinks better of it. But Kobu's definitely weak in these last few corners on those medium tires. Hideki once again on the softs. The Audi, a very fast car.
Now we know what Hideki's driving style like. It is very, very aggressive, and he's always tempting to be mixing about with the stewards without making a mistake as he gets a great one off Nicky Lauda. But he just needs to sort of calm down his driving aggressiveness here.
Front is still stationary. I don't think too much passing is going to be happening at the front. I think all these drivers are trying to fuel save, but I think Hideki-sama is the one driver who wants to be on a move right now. Let's see if we can get something by Kobu here, but no Kobu. That's the power and acceleration of that GTR.
Oh, nice battle for 10th going on here. We've got a pack of cars here. Stig, Alex, Mermaid, Wise Guys, and Iceman all in the mix here.
Back behind Stick, who is in 10th. Mermaid in 11th. Looks like Wise Guy tried to look up the inside of Mermaid. Oh, a bit of a tap there.
I thought they were teammates. No, they're not. They're in the same different teams, aren't they?
That they are. But Wise Guy's through, but there was a bit of a tap, so stewards might have to take a bit of a look at that. Don't know if they'll decide a penalty or not.
So Stig has freed himself from this 4-car battle, a 4-car train now.
It looks like Hideki managed to get by Kobu, but Kobu taking that position back. Hideki trying to go around the outside. Another touch. It's hard to fight that position around the outside. There comes Noxley looking to find a way by.
He's going to get 2 and 1 here. He might do it. He won't. Side by side across the start finish line. And no, Noxley sticks him behind. That must be the power of the GTR though.
There comes Hideki trying to go up the inside, not quite close enough. Let's get a replay of what happened with Noxley there as he tries to go by Kobu again. So let's see what happens. Kobu tries to take his position back from Hideki-sama, but those medium tires don't quite work. So they knock doors, so they're both slow. Noxley tries to go up the inside of Hideki, gets that done. Then Kobu's slow on the regs of Red Bull Mobile, and he tries to get this done.
And there's contact, there's an incident happening in turn 2. Hideki-sama clipped way too much to the curb and got it to Kobu and spun him around. Here's the replay. Look at this, gets in the curb, gets in the power, and it just spins Kobu out. And it's like I says, it's the aggressiveness of Hideki. He needs to tone it down. He could be in trouble right the stewards already.
Let's get an on-board replay this time around. That was a bit too late, but let's see if I can get that done just right this time. Another button will work here. So yeah, he clips the curve, gets on the throttle, and just it's a classic pit maneuver onto Kobu.
I mean, Charles was on the outside, and he didn't give Hideki that much, a lot of room. But there was nothing else that Hideki could have done, other than maybe putting the brakes on. But I tell you what, Kobu will be so annoyed by that because he was having a decent race on those medium tyres, doing well, stick ran wide through the curve. He might get a penalty. But yeah, for no
Hideki!
Sama's got time slapped! Did he just time slap into the wall?
Yeah, he did. I think he had to check up, make sure not to hit the back of Kobu this time around, and just the rear end bit. He grabbed the slide and it just bit the other way.
It's a great run through Rink, and then into Red Bull. It's the curb, and then the power, and then hard into the tire wall.
So Hideki,
he's really struggling.
Yeah,
Hideki's struggling.
That R8, we know it's not an easy car to drive. That's why no one's typically picked it in our GR3 Championship Series. Not only is it not just the best on tire, but it's not easy to drive. You really have to be aggressive to get the most out of it. And when you have a car in front of you on a slower set of tires, it's hard to really master the car.
Yeah, it is, Angus. This is the first time we've ever seen an Audi race in the GR3 Championships, to my reckoning. Anyways, looking at Nugatti, looking nice out front, then Danz, and then Chile, 1, 2, 3. Then Laurel now 5 seconds back over Chile. And Thomas there having a solid race there. I can't remember when he qualified again. Was it 10th? He's up to 5th place on those medium tyres. He's the first of them to be on the medium tyres, but he's slowly getting caught by Knoxville in that Porsche.
Charles and alone, the 7th Wise Guy, starting to gain back some positions after that lap 1, turn 2 incident. Already back up into 8th, capitalizing off the incident between Kobu and Hideki-sama. Kobu back in the 9th after the incident, Stig in 10th, and all over the back of Kobu. And we have Mermaid and Iceman battling for position as well.
So that's a good battle going on then between Iceman and Mermaid. Mermaid got his teammate Sticky just up front as you're on board with Mermaid, looking back at 12th place Iceman.
And you can just see the acceleration that the V8 has in the front of that Corvette. If it pulls on a GTR out of the corner.
Yeah, that's what American cars are mostly famous known for, isn't it? Having a lot of grunt on the straightaways, but when it comes to handling wise, when it comes to the corners, it's a little bit different. It's like the same with the Dodge Viper.
Kobu's still in 9th, but behind him he's being hounded by Stig in 10th. I believe they're both on the medium tires. Let me just have a quick look-see. Yeah, it looks to be that the rest of this pack here is on the medium tire. The only one who's on the soft behind him is Hideki, but that was after his a few incidents that locked him back down to last place, currently in Lavier. Back at the front, Dance is actually taking the lead from Nugatti.
Yeah, so they're very close together. I'm going to see how he did it. I must have missed the replay, but he must have passed him way before turn 8.
Dan's now in the lead, so I guess he wants to lead. He's done enough fuel save and wants to try and build the gap. But now Nugatti's in the draft, and now he can fuel save. Chile in a distant 3rd, but this is where Chile loves to be. Nugatti actually...
He's going to the inside, and he wants to take that lead back. Fair play, Nugatti. He's not wanting to stick behind. He wants to make a show out of this.
And he does, and we love to see it, but this plays in the Chile's hands perfectly. He has 2 cars in front. He can sit in the slipstream. He can drop that car in that 7th gear and just fuel save this entire race. He can hit and have 10% more fuel than both the cars in front of him.
I'll tell you what, he has saved a lot of fuel by the looks of Nugatti and Dan's. I think he saved at least 10% of fuel, like what you said. Chile's looking really good here.
Farther back in field, Lost Steel in 4th, Thomas 5th, and Knox V6, Charles in 7th, and we're starting on a pole. Wise Guy 8th, Kobu in 9th, who actually seems to have built a bit of a gap. Iceman's up into 10th, so we missed some passes towards the back of the field. Iceman's elevated his position, got by both Stig and Mermaid. Stig can do if he can manage to find a way by Iceman here, or the right car.
Didn't hit the apex at turn 6, did Iceman, and Stig never really capitalized on it. See, there are different lines taken now going into turn 8 there. Iceman all over the curb, and Stig decided not to. Should probably may have learned that from the next time by, because it looks like Iceman's pulled away after that.
He has. Now, the rear end of that Chevrolet is quite stable. I have a bit of experience driving it myself. However, it's a bit sluggish on turning, but the rear end is super stable. Really easy to get the power down. But once again, this group of cars are all on the medium tire. Back at the front, Nugatti still ahead of Dan's and Chile. All 3 cars still quite close together. Let's go on board with Nugatti for a little bit.
So we're just going through Worth Curve, turn 6. That was probably like 3rd gear. Now into 4th gear he goes. Up the power into 5th gear. Could be going about 140 miles an hour going into Ring Curve. Down a gear, down 2 gears. That's down to 3rd. Up to 4th, back to 3rd for Red Bull Mobile. And then onto the start-finish line he goes. We should probably be seeing pit stops roughly in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yes, as we mentioned earlier, it is going to be a one-stop strategy for the majority of these drivers. I don't think anyone in Tier A is going to pull a PKMZ and decide to go for a 2-stop and throw away the win. Sorry to throw you under the bus, PK, but I had to bring it up once again. But yeah, it's going to be a one-stop strategy. Whether or not this, again, as we mentioned, Charles on the medium tire. I think he's, if I'm not, no, Thomas would be the best placed medium tire driver currently right now. But he is currently 11.5 seconds behind. And if I look at his current fuel load compared to the leaders, it's not looking too hot. But the GTR is quite a thirsty car. So whether or not he'll be able to gain time switching to the soft tires, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, looking at his fuel, it's just down to about halfway down on fuel as Thomas's. When I look at Charles's one, he is just above half distance. But I'm just seeing though, looking at Charles, he's now 17 seconds back on Bugatti from the lead. Do you think that's too big of a gap for Charles to make up when he goes onto the soft tyres and Nuggy and Dance until he goes onto the mediums?
If it's possible. I mean, all these front drivers are all going to be on the same strategy, but Chile has the advantage here. He's only 1.5 seconds behind Bugatti, but he saved 10% more fuel. That's roughly, I want to say, anywhere between 5 to 8 seconds in a pit stop. So you're only 1.5 seconds behind, and you're going to gain 8 seconds in a pit stop. Really, this race is... Ooh, Dave picks up a penalty, though.
Oh, big news, and he's got to serve it after the kink, and that will allow Chile to go into second place. Did he shortcut through turn 1? Did he run wide?
I think he just ran wide, yeah. A characteristic mistake from the Dance, though. Not normally one to make simple mistakes like that.
But good thinking, though. He quickly served that penalty, so I don't think he's lost that much time. He's behind Chile now, at least, but it now has elevated Chile to second place.
The rest of the field looks like Charles is going to have his hands full. The wise guy behind him. And behind them, Kobu is now leading a pack of cars with Iceman. So Iceman, I believe, has caught up to Kobu, if I'm not mistaken, with Mermaid and then Stig and then ACC Alex behind him.
Nicky Sama 34 seconds back, 3.5 away from Alex in 13th in that Jag. I tell you what, I'd be hugely impressed if I was Lord. I mean, to sit there in 4th position, I mean, he's basically racing for himself. He's got no one in front of him, no one behind him. It's just a solid effort from Law. He's going to be on course for like his best finish of the season. I mean, his best ever finish that he's been in TNA.
And it's a good thing to note, he's on the same fuel level, I believe. Let me make sure of this. No, he's not quite on the same fuel level as Chile. As close as actually Knoxville makes his pit stop. I was going to say that he's also in the Citroen, so he could be on the same. I was going to say that he could be on the same fuel level as Chile in the Citroen, so he might have been able to gain a lot of time in the pit stop, but it would have been close. But Knoxville makes the pit stop on the mediums. He goes. He's up to 66% fuel. He's going to come out behind. Let's see what he does.
He come out behind Mermaid. There's a battle going on between the two teammates, Mermaid and Stick.
Yeah, he does come out behind us, but he comes out 12th. So he's got a fresh set of tires, more fuel in his car. So he should be faster than the cars in front of him, but whether or not he'll hold position after they switch to the soft tires come this end of the race, we will see.
I think one thing for sure is he's definitely going to have to fuel save. 37 minutes left on the clock, and he's the first to make a pit stop. I thought that's maybe a couple of laps too early for Knoxville to make a pit stop, I reckon.
It might be, but he might be trying to pit on his tire wear. He got rid of the softs before they dropped off of pace too much, and now he's on the mediums, which will last him the rest of the race. So I think he's trying to get the most out of his tires more than he's pitting on fuel. What's interesting back at... Sorry, I'll let you go.
I'm just looking at his lap times on his last few laps on the softs before he made the pit stop. Lap 7, 129.4. Lap 8, 129.5. Lap 9, 129.1. Lap 10, 129.1. Lap 11, 129.1. Wasn't really a loss of time, really.
Back at the front, interesting development. Bugatti has pulled 2.6 seconds on Chile, and Chile has Dans in his rear view mirror. So Chile is essentially in this scenario being forced to rev his car. He's being forced to not fuel safe if he doesn't want to lose too much time to Bugatti and not let Dans by. And Bugatti is continuously building that lead as well. So even though he has less fuel in his car than Chile, he's building that buffer that he needs to fill up that extra amount.
Yeah, and I think what Bugatti will possibly know is Chile knows that Bugatti knows that Chile is a fuel saver, so that's why he wants to pull that gap away as much as he can. But will Chile react to this, or will Chile thinking, this is there's no panic just yet, though?
Well, we had a call in the chat to look at their fuel level there. You see Nugatti just under 50% fuel, and there's Chili a little bit over 50%. Then you have Dan's roughly a little bit more than what Nugatti has, but Nugatti has been leading most of the time. So everything will be shown to us once they make their pit stops in roughly 5 minutes time. Let's have a look at the rest of the field real quick, see how everyone's doing. Lost still in 4th, Thomas in 5th, Wise Guy in 6th, so he managed to get by Charles. Charles in 7th, but he's being caught quickly by Kobu and the pack behind him. As Kobu picks up a 1.5 second penalty. He tries to get over the side of the track, but doesn't want to hit his teammate. So he finally gets overserved his penalty, but he comes back out in front of Stig. So this is now a 5-car pack here.
Watch out for Noxley in that Porsche, fresh out of the pits. Oh, he's cutting left and right, isn't he?
He's trying to find a way by. 2 cars up front. The track's only really 3 cars wide. Will Noxley try to break late? He won't. Sits in behind, is going to pick an opportunity, but Kobu slow to the middle of the corner. Noxley using his better tires to get by Kobu. Great pass.
Nice pass from Noxley. So that's him up to 11th place, trying to make his way out through the field, being the first pit stops. Looks like Stig and Mermaid have pulled a bit of a gap away between the pair of them. I wonder if Stig is starting to struggle on those mediums.
I think he is, especially with how fast Noxley's closed up to the back of him. You can see just how much later Noxley is braking. A little bit of a tap there from Noxley.
Yeah, that's a con. That's a tap. Yep. He's just letting them know, I'm right behind you. Get going.
Here, get out of the way. I'm going to find a way by. And he might try to find a way by here. You can see the speed difference just from being only going to throttle earlier. He's trying to compete with a Corvette, though. I don't think it's going to work out too well.
Whoa.
Oh, but there he goes. Oh, but that's contact.
Wow.
Contact there. Stig tries to take the position back. Stewards might need to take a bit of a look at that one.
And Stig may lose a ton of momentum as Cobra looks like he's going to pass him now.
Yeah, so Stig lost 2 positions from that bit of contact with Noxley. Noxley sets his sights on Mermaid and Iceman in front of him. 33 minutes left to go. Nugatti's opened up his lead to 3.4 seconds. Chili still in 2nd. Dan's right behind him.
Just looking at the lap time comparisons between the pair of them, to me it looks like Nugatti is still saving that fuel. He's just gone under 50%. Whereas Nugatti's around about in between 25 to 50, so what, maybe 37. But the lap times I'm seeing here, last lap from Nugatti was a 1:29.5 compared to Chili's 1:29.650. So Nugatti's only faster by a 10th than Chili, but I'm guessing Chili is still fuel saving.
Well, Chili's always fuel saving. That's what he does at this point.
Yeah.
But he's trying to gap Dan's out a little bit. Dan's is still within 8/10ths. But he has to push a little bit to make sure he stays on the back of that Citroen.
Chili made a poor lap there, 1:30.022. He's the first to get to the 30s. Nugatti did a 1:29.5, so two the same lap times from Nugatti. So he's pulled at least nearly half a second away from Chili. So I'm wondering if this is the time that Chili will start going for it.
Yeah, it's interesting to me to think that we have 2 different battles forming here on track. We have the interesting fuel-saving strategy at the front of the field, and then you further back in the battle for 8th place, you see the actual physical battle on track, dicing for positions.
We sort of closed it up on the Mermaid, as you're looking at it right now.
Well, actually, I want to see this. So, Iceman and Mermaid side by side. Iceman defending his 8th place against Mermaid.
Oh, Cobra made like an absolute huge lunge on Knoxville.
He almost gained position, but he wasn't quite. Let's get a replay of what happened there. So Kobu came from way far back. Whoa!
Oh, I thought it looked like Knoxville was trying to defend the position, and then Kobu, the late lunge, goes to the inside. I thought he was going to go to the outside to try and pass Knoxville, but then thought second of it and just dives to the inside. Luckily, there was no contact between the two. Look at them. So Kobu, I thought he was. Do you think he was trying to fake him out a bit?
I think a little bit.
He did.
But fair play to Knoxville. He held his line. He didn't move for him. At the front, Chili and Dan's have pitted as well. And actually, Chili and Law have pitted. Dan's has stayed out. So let's go on board with Chili, see what happens. 44% fuel to Nugatti's 54. So Chili didn't save nearly as much fuel as Nugatti.
There goes Thomas now, and now that could be. Oh, look at them! They're side by side. Chile comes out ahead of Nugatti.
So even though Nugatti had 10% more fuel than Chile comes out in front.
It still wasn't enough. That 3.5 second advantage that Nugatti had over Chile.
They're fighting. They're fighting.
They're fighting.
Nugatti actually had fueled up more than Chile, so Chile actually has to do a bit of fuel saving this stint. While Nugatti can push his car a bit more.
No, he might not. But the problem is they've got Thomas up ahead. So, and I don't know how much of an influence Thomas is going to be in this race, but I'm guessing Dan should probably make his pit stop this time by see if the undercut would work for both Chile and Nugatti to get out ahead of Dan's. But I'm wondering, will Thomas play a part in this?
This is where Nugatti can push. He has more fuel than Chile. Chile makes a bit of a mistake. That's going to allow him to close up. So Nugatti, even though he had 10% more fuel at the pit stop, he fueled up his car more, so he doesn't have to fuel save for the latter half of the race. And he can use that to his advantage to try and push away by Chile.
He's looking hungry though, is Nugatti. He wants to get by Chile as soon as he can. This is what I was saying. This is like reigniting the battle that they had on Tuesday in practice, and it was so great to see that. As we see Dan's making his pit stop, he's in the comes into the pit lane, as well as Thomas.
Dan's and Thomas make their pit stop, so Dan's now filling up as they're crossing the start-finish line as Chile and Nugatti. Chile still ahead of Nugatti, where's Dan's going to come out. He's done fueling, he's going to come out of the pit lane now, and he's lost a lot of time.
Lost a lot of time, so the undercut has worked to Chile and Nugatti's advantage. They've dropped Dan's back. It's now a straight two-horse race now. I'm wondering if Dan's will have the power in that Merc to catch up to Nugatti. Nearly 4 seconds between them.
So Chile's defensive, Nugatti around the outside. You can make it work if you can get the braking done right. Chile, he might go wide. Can we see the over-under? Not quite.
Not quite, but I mean, if they're going to keep on battling, it's going to allow Dan's to catch up, and it will be a 3-horse race again.
Chile's has to go crazy defensive while fuel saving, and Nugatti can just push his way by. Outside this corner, not the easiest move to make, but Nugatti's going to try and do it. They touch doors.
That's a brave pass if he can do it. I was seeing it earlier, but it didn't work. But it looks like Nuggy's got this. But he'll have the inside for turn 4. Chile sort of leaned on him and still held on to the lead. I tell you what, this is kind of reminds me of the battle that Ricky Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher did in the 1998 Formula 1 race. That was absolutely epic to watch as well. And this is exactly the same tune.
Nuggy just has the pace that Chile does, and Chile can't afford to run his car as fast. He's going to look to the inside here.
Inside.
They're side by side. Nuggy can't get it done. Chile closes the door just enough, but that might compromise Chile's line through here. Might give Nugatti the advantage on the start-finish straight, but he's too far back to make it work.
And Dance has gained a second after all this battling going on between Chile and Nugatti. He's now nearly down to 2 seconds, or less than 3 seconds.
Turn 1, Nugatti still all over the back of Chile. He's going to have the slipstream coming up here. Chile put his car in the middle of the track, forced Nugatti to pick a side. Nugatti picks the inside. Just get his car alongside. This might be it. This might be the change for a lead. Who will brake later? They're going to brake at the same time. Nugatti's going to have the inside for the corner. Can Chile get on the throttle? He can. He still holds on.
Oh, this is great stuff. This is what we've been waiting 3.5 months for, isn't it? This is great racing.
He's looking real hungry, but the more he does this, the more he forces Chile to use his fuel to hold on to his position. I don't think Chile could hold on for 26 minutes.
I tell you what, it would be a Herculean effort if he could do that. That would be one of the drives of his lives from Chile.
God, he's still all over the back of him. He's going to try and get a run through here, slightly wider entry. Carried down the throttle a bit earlier, try and stick his nose
Gets
up.
a run. He's got a great run in the middle of turn 7. To the inside he goes.
He can get it done. He's fully alongside. And he's through.
Can he pass him? Is he passing him in a Rick Campbell again? The power to Citroen on the outside. Is it going into turn 9? Can Chile hold him off? Yes, he does. Chile, unbelievable defensiveness.
So here's the replay on board from Nugatti's point of view. Let's look at Chile. So Nugatti had the lead for a brief moment in time, but Chile just had the grip to hold it on the outside.
He's got it this time. He just passed him through Niki Lauda, so Nugatti back into the lead. Chile now down to 2nd place, but Dance is catching him now. 1.8 seconds now.
So Chile lets him go by. He doesn't even fight him. He understands that he can't hold on to the lead with the pace that Nugatti has. I think Chile has resigned himself to 2nd place.
I think he might be resigned to fuel saving here, and then maybe hopefully see the Gary make a mistake and then pick his pocket and try and take that lead back. But Dan's has now got back himself. Well, he hasn't got himself back into this race. It's because of Bugatti and Chile battling. And now Dan's has made it a 3-horse race.
As this battle develops, let's look at the rest of the field after they made their pit stops. Law still in 4th, Knoxville up into 5th now because he pitted early, but he might fall into the clutch of Thomas TT behind us. He almost loses the rear end of that Porsche. So Thomas 1.8 seconds behind Knoxville though, but he's on newer set of tires, also the soft tires. Then we see Wise Guy in 7th, Iceman in 8th, Charles back into 9th, but he's now on the soft tire. We have Mermaid in 10th. Behind him is his teammate Stig in 11th. Then we have Kobu 12th, ACZ Alex in 13th. And then we have Hideki Sama still back in 14th.
Do you think Charles is probably paying for that mistake starting on medium tyres? He's 25 seconds back away from the Bugatti.
I think again in this scenario, I think starting on the mediums from pole position wasn't the smartest choice, but it's hard to say what could have been, especially after that turn 2 incident that we had. The accordion effect that just caused it to happen. Actually, Iceman pits again. Did he not pit? He pitted earlier.
No, he didn't pit. That's his first pit stop. Yeah.
I was thinking of Thomas too. So this Iceman making his first stop. Soft tires will go on. Fuel goes in. He might end up falling back into, I want to say 12th, if not 13th here. So quite a bit of fuel going into that GTR.
Oh wow, up to 90%. I think that was. He didn't need to put that much fuel in, to be fair. I mean, when there's only 23 minutes to go, I think half of it would have been fine. But anyway, let's see what I can do with that then. Down in 13th, he's got Alex ahead in the Jag, and there's Hideki right behind him. Oh, sorry, you're looking at the battle for the lead. My apologies. I was looking at my screen, sorry.
Just watching this battle up here, 23 minutes left to go. Bugatti leads. Chile has to half a second behind Dan's. Only 2 seconds behind Chile, so Dan's has dropped back a little bit here.
Looks like we've got ourselves possibly a battle for 5th place on our hands. Knoxville in the Porsche, on the mediums, versus Thomas on the softs. And he is starting to close up on the back of that Porsche.
Just a second separate them now. Let's go on board with Thomas as he closes right to the back. One. That's the straight line speed of the GTR. Knoxville goes defensive. Thomas doesn't think of it yet. I'm going to try and set it up for turn 2.
He holds on to it. Gets sideways through Nicky Lauda. Keeps going now. You can possibly see the massive scuff marks on the back of that Porsche. Can you see it? Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Still defensive though, so Thomas still trying to pick his opportune moment here. Can't get on the throttle as fast as the Porsche though. He's still struggling with the rear end of that car getting on the throttle.
I think that's what the Porsche is one of its good advantages of the Porsche. It's very good off the corner, but again, when it comes to straight line speed, it's not one of the best, and that's where the GTR really thrives on them.
Still all over the back of Knoxville for that 5th place. He's closer than he's ever been before.
Oh, Knoxville sideways going into Rough. So
set it up here.
There you go.
A bit of a bump though. Couldn't quite get his car to the inside and take advantage of it.
At least that wasn't a bump draft. That's all fair and legal. Into turn 9. Porsche looks a bit unsteady at the back, isn't it? And you can see Thomas getting a hell of a run off of Red Bull Mobile. And then you can just see the power of the GTR almost like he'd be getting his side draft off of Knoxville, and Thomas back up into 5th place. This is a great show from Thomas. Qualified in Lobby B, started in 10th place, he's up to 5th place. That's a real good effort there, and I believe that's the best of the Ice-T Racing boys.
If I'm not mistaken, if we're going to have a look at lost tires, yeah, he's on the medium and Thomas is on the soft, and he's only just under 6 seconds up the road with 20 minutes remaining as Knoxville tries to take the position back. Can't quite get it done though.
We'll get the speed off the Ramos. No, you can just see the power of that GTR just pulling away from the Porsche.
I'm just going to say, if Thomas can push to the end of this race, he might be able to catch Law and take 4th place.
Yeah, the gap now is what, 6.2 seconds with 20 minutes to go. Law's on the mediums as well. So yeah, it's definitely doable.
Farther back in the field, there we see Wise Guy inside. Behind them is Charles, now on the soft tire. Behind him, Mermaid. We have Kobu in 10th, who I think managed to work his way by Stig, as Stig goes very wide and spins out.
Oh, he spun at 10-4. Must have got on the power a bit too early and got on the curb and just around she goes.
I think he missed his braking zone, put his rear tire in the gravel trap, got on the throttle, and around it went. But doesn't lose any position, just a bit of time.
I mean, at the end of the day, as Knoxville makes his second pit stop, I thought he would have pitted in, like, he pitted in 15 minutes early, like 12 to me. But, yeah, going back to Stig, I mean, this is no real big issue for the Stig. I mean, don't forget, there will be drop points to this, so this 11th place for comfort is nothing, really.
And it's the same for Charles, too. Qualifying on pole, but we see him back in, I want to say 8th, 7th place right now. If not pissed off. So, drop points will definitely help him come this race, but I'm sure Charles wishes that he could have had a better result this time by. In fact, he's only a second behind Wise Guy here, so I think he's closing up to the Corvette.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Wise Guy's on the mediums versus Charles on the soft tires. So let's see what Charles can do there. We did see what I saw the Wise Guys did pass Charles, the vice versa tires before Charles made his pit stop.
Charles is starting
He's all over him.
I think Charles is starting to understand that Porsche and how much more speed he can carry through the corners, especially versus the Corvette.
Oh, you can see that just visibly how struggling the Corvette looks in those corners there, how unhappy it looks. And you can just see Charles just looks a man possessed. He's all over the back of that Chevrolet, goes to the inside, going into wind curve, sorry. Not going to get it though, but I mean, there's definitely warning shots that Charles wants to go by. Look at the run he had there in the middle.
Charles definitely trying to get the most he can out of those soft tires he just put on. Let's see, I'm curious, is Wise Guy? No, Wise Guy's on the medium, so that explains the pace difference.
But again, it's just, Charles got to get by Wise Guys, or he has to get a good run off a corner, because this bit here, this is where the Chevrolet does excel in compared to the Porsche. He needs to pass him with turn 2 here, which he's got to, looks like he is.
I use the slipstream brake later with the better tires up the inside, and he's through.
Wise Guy's a little sideways off the corner of Remus, but yeah, Charles gets the job done up to 6th place. And in fairness, Charles is only 6.5 seconds away from Thomas, and Law is starting to really struggle on those tires. As you were saying a couple of laps ago, Thomas has closed at least 2 seconds on Law. It's now down to 4.5 seconds between Law and Thomas.
Bit of a development up at the front. Chile has fallen back by almost a second behind Nugatti, so the Chile definitely having to fuel save his car a bit more than what Nugatti can right now. But Dan's is still only 2.6 seconds behind him, so I don't think Dan's is going to be fighting for position here anytime soon. But yeah, the battle, and I think the next battle we're going to see on track possibly is probably Thomas catching up to Law here in the next 17 minutes. We're going to see another battle forming here for 10th place between Stig and Knoxville.
Knoxville fresh, he must be still on the mediums, yes he is. He's learned the rules of not being on the soft tyres, so well done out at Knoxville. But you can see Stiggy all over the back of that Porsche.
Stig should be on the soft tires right now, and Knoxville on the mediums. It was almost reverse of what we saw just a few minutes earlier with Charles and Wise Guy.
See what I mean, you can see the power of that Corvette there, just it's just so quick. I mean, he's going for the crisscross, is he? No, he's not. No. I tell you what, it must be so annoying if you're driving a Porsche. He's so defenseless when you've got when you're battling against like a Citroen, a Corvette. Here goes Stick to the outside. When you know the car
tires, but Knoxville's at the inside. Corvette can't get on the throttle, and he holds on to it.
Holds on to it. Nice defensive from Knoxville. No, from experience, when I was driving the Porsche back in season 1, it was so frustrating because you couldn't do anything when you got the likes of like the Chevrolet that is so quicker than the Porsche time on the straightaway. It's just you're basically like a sitting duck.
Still side by side, but Stig might have the advantage. There's a bit of a touch there, but Knox still is the inside.
Some more contact in the middle of turn 5.
Stig's up the inside. Touch again.
More contact. Looked like there was more contact. Oh, that was so close. It's like battles everywhere you look, isn't it? This is good stuff here. This is only for 10th place. Oh, wow, they must have leaned each other.
Knoxville doing a great job to hold on to that 10th place.
That's brave. That was so super courageous there from Knoxville to hold on to that 10th place. Here it goes again. Oh, wow, nearly goes up against the pit wall. And that might break. Oh, wow. Deary me. That Stig was trying to pass it down the pit wall. Look at this. So here it goes, and then up against the pit wall. Got way too late, slid into turn 1 and just drives on by. I tell you what, this battle ain't over between the pair of them, and I tell you what, if they're not careful, Alex is catching in that Jag too.
And he is back at the front of the field. The gap between Nugatti and Chile has fallen back to 3/10. So if I look at their fuel levels, Chile is closed up a bit, but he's still less than Nugatti. But with 14 minutes remaining, I think Chile's got enough to push for the end of the race. I believe this is a race for the lead now.
Another guy that's also catching very quick is Thomas. 1.5 seconds he is away to loss, so a battle for 4th place could be happening within the next minute or two.
Still leads, and up at the lead, Nugatti still leads.
Dan's just really falling away from this battle for the lead, hasn't he?
Look at his fuel. He's got enough to kind of push. He's got more than Chile, but he's not really being able to push. Maybe he's trying to really wait until he knows he's got enough fuel in that car that he can really try and close those gaps. But even then, I don't know if it'll work. He might be trying to wait for them to start fighting before he starts to push.
If I was Dan right now, I'd push right now. 3.5 seconds against 2 very quick drivers who are basically in the slipstream with one another. It's not really going to help. I mean, out of the top 3, he has been setting the worst lap times out of the 3 of them.
Here we see
As you
Thomas.
see there, Thomas, yeah. Thomas now, less than a second. He is within slipstream distance.
These guys looking mighty quick on those soft tires.
It's a Red Bull cab. This will be lap 32 for the pair of them. I think there should be about another, 8 laps to go. Should be about a 40-lap race, this. And you can see Thomas there looking absolutely hungry to get on the back of that Citroen.
Still leads, but Chile's closer than he's ever been. He's putting the pressure on Nugatti, but will Nugatti crack? All right, for the battle for 5th, Thomas all over the back of Law, looks to the outside of turn 2. Go for the over-under, quite possibly. Law blocks the line, and he can't get it done.
I tell you what, this is a very strong show in this from Law. It really is. I've just looked up the stats here. This will be his 5th race in the TNA, and his best finish that he's ever done was 11th at Spa, and that was the final round of season 3. Here he is sitting in 4th place. I mean, this is a superb showing from Law.
Let's go back on board with Thomas as he tries to find a way by the Citroen of Law. 11.5 minutes remaining left in the race. The race is over, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We will have post-race driver interviews. As we see Thomas trying to get the run off the corner up the inside. We've seen this work. We've also seen it happen. There we see Law trying to hold the outside. He gets it done. Thomas falls back in line.
Wow, we have seen some people defend their positions like crazy, and it's worked so well. But you can see again that GTR, the power of that GTR just blitzes by the Citroen like he wasn't even there.
He's through into 4th place. I don't think Law will be able to contest. There you go, 4th place for Thomas T. Starting, what was it, 10th?
Yeah, started 10th. Yeah, superb effort from Thomas. Battle going on for 8th place though. Cobra versus Mermaid. Nissan versus Chevrolet. Well, Kobe would be quite happy to see Thomas there now, just gain a position up to 4th place. I mean, that will help Ice-T in the constructor standings. It looks like 11th place on back. There's a bit of a battle going on as well. Stig, Alex, looks like Knoxville's freed himself and all, but you're still looking at this battle for 8th between Mermaid and Kobu. Kobu, who was spun out by Hideki early on in the race and then picked up a penalty halfway through it.
On board with Mermaid, on board the V8 of the Corvette as he tries to close up to the back of Kobu. Wise guy in front of them.
Yeah, Mermaid's had a bit of a quiet race, hasn't he? We haven't talked a lot about Mermaid. Started 13th, and he's up to 9th place. I mean, it's a decent improvement, but I would expect Mermaid to be up a little bit higher than what we saw in the days due up to this race.
Mermaid's been, well, in fairness, in Season 3, Mermaid was in the AMG, if I'm not mistaken, which right now is currently leading. Actually, there's been a change at the front. Dance is in second. Chili's made a mistake somewhere.
Did Chili pick up a penalty or something? His last lap was a 1:32.7, so I don't know if Chili made a huge mistake or did he pick up a penalty, but I'll tell you what, that'll be ears to the Nugatti there, seeing a huge gap now, over 5 seconds.
I don't think Chili is. That's pretty much going to be the race for Nugatti unless he makes a mistake. But Dance has his eyes on second place now.
Oh, well, that's a huge mistake there for Chili there. I hope we get an interview of him to see what happened. To lose him so much time through that. I'm guessing there might be a penalty. I don't think he's the type of guy that would spun around, but yeah, that's a huge mistake for Chili, and that would cost Pivotal to actually catch a win for this race.
Chili does not have nearly as much fuel in his car to push to catch the Nugatti, but now Dance is on par for a good second place finish.
I tell you what, do you know something? I want to stick this in here. Thomas is catching Dance as well in a hurry. Do you think Thomas will play a part as well for this podium finish with 8 minutes to go? And he is catching Dance very quickly.
He would have to gain 8 seconds within 8 minutes. I don't know if that's going to be close enough. He might get within 5 to 4 seconds, but I don't think it'll be close enough to take 3rd place away from Dance.
I mean, looking at Dan's last lap time, it was a 1:31.453. Thomas's last lap time, as he just picked up a penalty, he must have shortcut, ran right through Mickey Loudon, was a 1:29.113. He gained 2 seconds on Dan's. But he would have lost that because he did pick up the penalty, and now Law's back behind Thomas. So the gap now back up to 9 seconds. I think that is just finished with that penalty from Thomas.
Up to 9 seconds, as mentioned. Wallace, the second behind him. Charles in 6th place. A bit of recovery for him, but he's closing up so long a little bit, I think. Law's on the mediums, or a bit of a slow corner there. But Wise Guy up into 7th. Behind him is still Kobu and Mermaid still going at it.
Yep, so far.
Then we have Mermaid 9th, Knoxville, 10th place. Now still in mediums, and behind him Iceman, Stig, Casey, Alex, and then Vicky. Fairly distant 14th place, but there's a 3-car battle here for 11th.
Oh yes, it is. I mean, Iceman for Ice-T by the looks of it. And then you got Stig driving for, what was that team again? I forget. What's that team name? We keep forgetting team names, I do apologise. And then we got Alex for Mission Ronald. Who's going to come out on top on that battle?
It's Mission Wano.
Oh, Mission Wano. Yes, right, okay.
Here's a good run from ACZ Alex coming out of the second penultimate corner. Stig really fighting with the rear of that Corvette.
Less than 5 minutes to go, so it's really anyone's battle for 11th place.
Really still ahead of Dan's. The next closest battle on track. Kobu's still ahead of Mermaid. And we had the 3-car battle for 11th.
thought Stig would have ran wide at Nicky Lauda, but didn't pick up. Oh, he has picked up a penalty. He's picked up half a second penalty, and Alex will go by, and into 12th place he goes.
Ooh, but he was losing the rear end of it a little bit as it checked up on the throttle, and now Stig's looking to take back that 12th place.
Mistake there through Ray mistake there, Alex there, but I don't know how fast that Jag is on the straights. Looks like it's not bad to me. Stick will have the inside for turn 4 and 5. Has he got it? No, the Jag holds on, but he runs wide. And holds on to it.
Stig runs wide too. He goes a little bit into the gravel trap.
That could be a penalty, you know. That could be another penalty for the Stig.
Oh, he's really up in 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Yep.
So that battle's done. Dan's still, I think Dan's might have had a bit of a penalty there, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see. He did have another 1 second penalty after turn 1. So Dan serves that penalty. He's now 1.5 seconds back. So it looks like the top 3 will remain stationary. But you see in the back of the shot, you do just see Thomas TT. But he's 7 seconds behind with 4 minutes to go.
I think to me, a bit too far back for me. If he didn't have that penalty a couple of laps ago when he made the mistake at Nicky Lauda? Yeah, I think it was. Then he would have been a lot closer to Dan's, and then we could have a fight for the bottom place on the podium. But but hey, great showing this from Thomas. Superb showing.
That it is. Law still in 5th, Charles 6th, Wise Guy 7th, and Mermaid seems to have finally found his way by Kobe for 8th place.
Now Mermaid want to catch up on his Kobu's fellow CSX teammate. In a battle over the Chevrolets for Scuderia, Powerpuff Girls, and Mermaid's team.
I believe it's Sim Racing, if I'm not mistaken.
Sim Racing, that's right, yeah, that's correct.
Just make sure, double check that real quick.
I think you're right.
Yes, Sim Racing. Gotti leads 6 seconds over Chile. He was 1.3 over Dan's. Thomas 6.7 seconds behind Dan's. Law 2.8 behind Thomas. Charles 5.5 seconds behind Law. 6.3 is Wise Guy to Charles. Wise Guy 2.5 to Kobu, who's actually managed to work his way back by Mermaid. So there's a battle for 8 is ongoing.
Looks like it's the only closest battle for position that's going on the track. All the rest of them spreading themselves out. So Kobu doing all right there, being in 8th place. I don't think he'll have enough time to catch up to his fellow CSX teammate Wiseguy in 7th there, who's had a quiet race, but he did start quite high up, did Wiseguy. I think he's qualified 5th and then got involved in that first lap skirmish that Knoxville started and all the way back to 12th. So, I mean, seems to be up into 7th. That's a good recovery.
He did lose a lot of ground up in that turn 2 scuffle, which I'm sure the stewards will be looking at. I'm sure they will. I'm sure Knoxville doesn't feel too good about it either, but racing is racing, and that's how things are. As mentioned, you're allowed the 1 drop score this season for the drivers and 2 for the manufacturers, so it's not all brought on, it's not all thrown away. There's a 1.5 minutes remaining left in this race, and Bugatti has been quite dominant up front. Led the way most of this race. AMG is suiting his driving style perfectly, and he has a 6-second gap to the next closest driver, which is Chile in his Citroen.
Just to mention that the fastest lap is down to the 1:28.399, which is not beaten Obama's lap record, what was at 1:28.1. I believe that's correct. But I mean, we know that the qualifying lap record was smashed, but I would have thought the lap record here would have been beaten and all. But it looked like Obama's lap time is still going to hold on.
I think in this season, I don't think we're going to see too many fast laps in the race, but we're going to see qualifying, especially with the 1-stop strategy and fuel saving being more important because of that. He's done fairly good so far, but now Tom is only 4 seconds behind, but he's only got 40 seconds to try and close 4 seconds.
This will be the last lap. Nagati's just came across the start-finish line. So this will be the last lap. 30 seconds to go. I don't know who's going to cross the line first, but it'll be someone lower down. Just looking here, will it be CRubennnn with that? I mean, Mermaid's lost a lot of ground. He's lost down to about 3 seconds away from CRubennnn, so I don't know if Mermaid's made a mistake somewhere. Anyways, there's 10 seconds to go. So Mermaid's going to be the last to cross the line. So
because he doesn't have fuel. Mermaid's out of fuel. He didn't do fuel right. He tried to cross the line so he would finish, but now he's got another lap to do, so he might lose even more. Actually, no, time is over.
No,
so he'll still hold on to 9th.
He will hold on to 9th place because Knoxville's just finished the line 10th, Iceman 11th, Alex 12th. Then you got Stick down in 13th, so he must have made a mistake somewhere, and Hideki too far back. But anyways, it's a lap of honour here for Nagati, and I mean, what can you say? Yeah, started 3rd, made a pass past Chucky from the inside of turn 2 on the first lap. Had a bit of a battle with Dan's in the middle of that stint. Then he was battling again with Chile. Managed to get by Chile. In fact, lost the pit battle to Chile. But he's found a way by, and he's going to take his first win in ARC.
Congratulations to Nugatti taking his very first win here in Tier A after becoming Tier B champion last season. Chile will come across the line in 2nd, and then we have Dan's in 3rd, and not far behind was Thomas TT in 4th.
And then Law will come across the line easily. His best ever finish in ARC. It was 11th back in the last round of Season 3. He will finish 5th. Superb effort. Charles started on the pole. He'll be gutted to be finishing in 6th place. Wise Guy, solid effort, flashing the lights in 7th. CRubennnn will finish in 8th. And Mermaid, who has now run out of fuel, so he will be in 9th place. And he won't make it to the end, so Mermaid will finish in that 9th place.
That he will, as we're going to wait for that time to count out before he's going to cross the line. But congratulations to every driver. It was a great race to start this season.
It was, yeah. That was well worth the wait, isn't it? And nice, lovely build-up from Mermaid. Look at all them people doing penalties except for Chile. Naughty people.
Well, there you have it, Nugatti, your race winner here for round 1 at the Red Bull Ring. That's score 1 for Polestar Racing Team. Let's pull up our race results as we look at everything. There it is, Nugatti, your winner. Chile 2nd, Dan's 3rd, Thomas 4th, Law 5th, Charles 6th, Wise Guy 7th, Kobu 8th, Mermaid 9th, Knoxby 10th, Iceman 11th, Alex 12th, Stig 13th, and Hideki Sama 14th. Of course, all these unofficial post-race penalties will be applied. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. The entertainment isn't over yet. We still have post-race interviews to go to. So in a few minutes' time, we'll bring that to you. So don't go anywhere. Okay, we are here for some driver interviews post round one here at Red Bull Ring. So let's jump on board with our pole sitter for this race, DM Charles. You here?
Hello.
Hello, Charles. One would say the qualifying went better than expected for you.
Oh yeah, by far. I was really aiming for a point four, to be honest. That's what I got in practice.
But come the race, there was a start of the race going into turn two. There was a bit of an incident there.
Well, yeah. I know it wasn't. Well, whose fault was it? It either way, it doesn't matter. That kind of lost me some time. I think if that didn't happen, I would have been top five most likely because I had a good stint on the softs.
You were battling throughout most of the mid pack throughout some of the race. Tell us what was going through your mind, how you were adjusting your strategy battling with some of the mid pack after qualifying on pole and not quite going as expected for you.
Well, when I dropped back, that was at that point I just wanted more to find the weaknesses of the car and try to catch as many positions as I could before the end there. Thomas was really fast. He just pulled away from me on the second stint.
All right, well, the next race, round two of champs, is at Monza. As once again, you're in the Porsche, which you said you've been struggling with. How are you going to prepare for that race?
Well, a wise Tavon once told me that the Porsche is very fast around Monza. So it's really just a matter of putting in the time with my team to find out how to drive that car really.
All right, well, I think that'll conclude our driver interview with you, but congratulations on your pole position. Hopefully we get to see some more results from you that don't involve incidents in the future.
Yeah, thanks a lot. See ya.
All right, let's move on to our race winner. His very first race win here in ARC. Nugatti, you here?
Yes, I am.
So Nugatti, first things first, congratulations on your very first win here in Tier A in ARC.
I'm having issues hearing you.
Congratulations having your first win here in ARC. Can you hear me, Nugatti?
Yeah.
Might have something to do with the Discord server.
Yeah, I'm having some issues here.
All right. Well, let me know if you can try to piece together what I'm saying. You had a very strong race battling with Chile up at the front. It was definitely a fuel-saving race between the two of you. How would you? Can you explain to us what was going through your head trying to out fuel save Chile, who was drafting you behind you? Nugatti? Okay, well, we're having some technical difficulties getting us to talk to Nugatti there. So we'll move on to our second place finisher with Chili. Chili, are you here?
I bottled it once again. Let's go.
Yeah, that's one thing I did want to ask you. There was a point where we were watching a battle for the mid pack, and we jumped back to the front, and you're several seconds behind Nugatti. Can you explain to us what happened there?
So just I was ragging it, trying to keep it like close to Nigatti because it's going to aim for the overtake on the last few laps, and I've never spun on that curve before, nowhere near it in testing, and the car just went. I hit the wall, but no damage, so just continued.
Okay, well, back at the start of the race, you had a fairly good start trying to find your way by Charles, who started on the medium tires. There was a point there, though, going into that turn two, and there was a bit of accidents going on. What was going through your head when you started to see a lot of drivers go wide due to the contact?
As soon as I saw, I literally was looking at the arrow, and I kept to the inside because I just knew something was going to happen. And I saw an arrow flying in on the radar, and that I genuinely let off the brakes. I was out of that corner quicker than I wanted to be, but I think that's what caused me to avoid it. And And then once that happened, I just knew it was a race between the three of us up front.
Coming into the first round of pit stops, when you made your stop, almost the entire race, you were about 5 to 15% more fuel than Dan's and Nugatti. But going into the pit stop, Nugatti had 10% more fuel than you, but still came out behind you. What was your strategy mind at that point when you saw that he had more fuel but came out behind you? Were you worried that he might have been able to push more than you?
I don't think he did have more fuel than me. I'm pretty sure he pitted with 34 and I pitted with 40 something. So I don't know whether that was a glitch on the game, but for certain, when he was like right behind me on the exit of the pits, I knew that the strategy had worked. So yeah, I don't know about that, but once I was in front, I was hoping to block him a little bit and keep and let Dan's catch up, but it just wasn't worth it. We were losing too much time battling, so.
Well, regardless, it was a strong finish for you. You had a pretty solid qualifying in the top 10. The next round is at Monza. What are your thoughts for Monza? It's not a track you've typically raced at a lot, and you haven't raced since, I think your first season was season 2, and we haven't raced Monza since season 1. So any thoughts going into that?
Well, I don't think the Citroen will excel much there because it's decent top speed, but it's still not obviously the best. The last time really driving around Monza was one of the daily races, which we had a little competition on. Granted, it was Group 4, but we managed to get. I think Nuggy beat us all again, annoyingly, but we all got into the top 10 EU times. So I certainly enjoyed driving Monza, and I think it's going to be good fun driving Monza. We just got to make sure that turn 1 isn't too much of a melee. And then, yeah, I don't think the Citroen's going to. I think the Mercedes will dominate there again. I will really struggle, but we'll see. I enjoy it.
All right. Well, congratulations on your second place finish today, and congratulations on your 6th consecutive podium finish.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to our next driver here. Let's move on to Law 226. Law, are you here? Hello, Law. If you are talking, Law, we cannot hear you. All right, we'll try and come back to you later. Let's see if we can get Nugatti to work here. Nugatti, can you hear me now?
Yep. Got it fixed.
All right, Nugatti, as I was trying to mention earlier, the start of the race, you had quite an excellent start to the race. You managed to get by Dan's into turn 1 and by Charles by turn 2.
Yeah, I was quite lucky right there because Charles obviously had a little bit of a mare first turn. So yeah, I was quite lucky to get in front. Yeah, I was aiming to dominate or lead most of the race, but yeah, I knew that the Citroen was strong, and I was trying to pull a gap to Chile, so I could be closer to him when I came out of the pits. But yeah, I think the race turned out pretty good, so I'm happy with that.
Speaking of the pit stop, when you went in, on my side of things, Chile says it might have been a bit different. I might have seen the wrong number. It looked like you had more fuel than him when you started the pit stop, but you came out behind him, but you also had more fuel in your car. What was your strategy there?
No, I had less fuel than him.
Okay.
On my screen, at least, I had like 10% less than him. So yeah, I was it was pretty good that because in practice I was coming out like 3 seconds behind him when we were quite equal. But yeah, I managed to pull that gap and push on and be right behind him. So that gave me the opportunity to take the lead back again.
All right, there was a point when, as Chile mentioned earlier, where he spun. What was the feelings? How stressful was it? Knowing that he was right behind you, and then when he spins, you get that gap built up, and what was going through your head at that moment?
To be honest, I was shocked. To be honest, because I didn't. Yeah, he hadn't spun there before. So, but yeah, obviously I was quite happy. So I was celebrating a little bit loudly. But yeah, I just kept my head down and finished the race. And yeah, but yeah, so I'm happy with that.
All right, that concludes our interview. But congratulations on your very first win in Tier A, and I'm assuming you're looking forward to Monza next week.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
All right, let's move back to Law 226 now. It seems he's got his mic working. Law, how was your race today?
Oh. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Excellent. Yeah, it was good. Pleased with running so high, and it was good in the first 4 or 5 laps that I was kind of keeping up with the top 3. I wasn't really expecting that, but I suppose the slipstream's so strong. But running in 4th most of the race was really good. I was pretty pleased with my pace, but then Thomas just nipped me at the end. I was quite disappointed, but oh well.
Well, I do want to point out that that was your best finish in ARC to this point. It was 5th place overall, and before your best finish was 11th place in Tier A. So I want to say congratulations to that, and the best place finisher for your team as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You did have a very quiet race throughout most of the race, though, but you did manage to kind of get away from a lot of the incidents at the beginning there. Can you explain us what you were experiencing going into that turn 3 with all the contact that was happening?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of cold breaks going on. I like whenever I was braking, I kind of had to swerve a little bit because other people in front of me were braking a little bit early, and then like whoever was beside me on the left, like about 1 second later, I just heard a big thud and they're gone. So I was kind of thinking, wait, I hope I didn't do that. But then I've just seen on the Discord chat, it was somebody. It was I think it was Novi. But yeah, always going to happen. Monza turn 1's going to be even more interesting than that.
Speaking of Monza, as Chili mentioned earlier, he feels like it might not be a track that's very suited to the Citroen. How do you feel that you're going to fare come next week?
Well, it depends if that GT Sport update comes out and nerfs the slipstream, then we're completely screwed. But yeah, I mean, I like Monza. I don't mind it. I think as long as that you keep in the slip, then it's a good track. But I mean, if Chile is not very optimistic about it, then that worries me. But oh well, we'll have a good time. It'll be good fun.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview and congratulations on your 5th place finish.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's move over to the first and only Jaguar driver in Tier A, ACZ Alex. You here? Hello, ACZ Alex. All right, we'll move on to the next driver there. Let's go over to CSX Kobu. Kobu, are you here?
Hello, hello.
Hello, Kobu. I would want to say you had a very eventful race out there.
Yeah, it was pretty eventful. At least this time around, it wasn't really my fault. So I'm partially, feeling better about the fact that throughout the race, it was mostly any incident was just, it wasn't really my fault. So I'm pretty happy with it regardless.
But throughout most of the race, we did see 3 of the Ice-T Racing GTRs in the race. So regardless of where you all finished, that's still some solid points for your team. Do you feel that perhaps maybe your strategy could have been a bit different? Because both you and Thomas Tinty started on the mediums. Do you feel like that was the right call?
Actually, yeah. We qualified mid-pack, and the mediums were going to be pretty good throughout the mid part of the race. About halfway through the soft stint, we would start keeping up and possibly even catching those people. So we made the decision as a team, even Iceman was on the mediums. So we just made the decision to start on mediums, and we were just going to go full throttle for the last soft stint. And that worked out for Thomas, but unfortunately I had an incident, and I definitely think I could have been up there as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of close racing between you and a lot of the other drivers towards that mid and lower half of the pack. Towards the end, though, you had a pretty good battle with Mermaid. Explain how you tried to piece that one together.
Well, actually, The first initial pass, Mermaid kind of just let me through. I noticed that he underfueled a little bit going into his second stint, so it seemed like he just wanted to fuel save off the back of me, and I just made a couple of mistakes going into T1. Just had a poor run, so he passed me, and so at the end of it, he kind of just kept letting me through because I was just faster in the straight line. So in the end, I think he ended up having to abandon the race with me to save fuel.
Well, after the race that you've had today and the 3 GTRs and some solid points from you, I'm assuming you're going to be looking forward to the next round at Monza, a track that most definitely suits the car you're driving, the GTR. How are you looking forward to that race?
I'm definitely thinking that we will possibly take a double podium. Um, the Mercedes is no slouch for sure, but I think that with what we can do as a team, we can very much take a double podium for Nissan, and I think Iceman can definitely get up there as well in the top 5.
All right. Well, congratulations on your race finish today. Good job on some solid points, the constructors points finish, and good luck on Monza next week.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to our final driver interview, or what might be our final driver interview. CSX Wise Guy, you here?
Hello?
Hello, Wise Guy.
Yeah.
I want to. You had a fairly rapid qualifying session there, qualifying 5th overall, but through the race you kind of fell back a bit. Do you feel that maybe? What do you feel is the biggest contributing factor to maybe perhaps you not finishing up as high as you want to? Do you feel maybe it was the incident in turn 1 or strategy more?
Uh, well, I sort of shot myself in the foot because incident turn one obviously didn't help. Brought me down to like tenths or so. But then I was agitated a bit, wasn't really thinking straight. So I assumed the damage was on heavy. So I pit on lap one, which was a mistake. And I ended up exiting the pits 3 seconds behind 13th. So I was a bit of a last to first. So considering that, and considering how poorly my start was and a bit of stupidity on my own part, I'm actually really happy with the result. I'm back to 7th.
Well, I believe you were the lone representative for Scuderia Powerpuff Girls and Lobby A. Explain to us how you're going to be looking forward towards Monza, a track where the Corvette would be more suited towards.
Oh yeah, for sure. Uh, the Corvette lacks a bit of straight line when compared to the GTR and even a little to the Merc. So it's similar to the Citroen, but not to the same degree. I'm hoping the update with the slipstream nerf waits a little bit longer just for that. Uh, but yeah, it should be a good car for that track. And if I can keep the slipstream, I can fuel save a lot because that's one of the Corvette's strengths. Should be a good race.
All right. Well, I think that'll about conclude our driver interview with you today. But congratulations on your finish, and hopefully we get to see some more good finishes from you in the future.
I hope so. Thank you.
All right, that will conclude our Tier A driver interviews, but we have 2 drivers here that raced in Lobby B, so let's get on with the Lobby B interviews here. Let's jump on board with Arc Ruby. Arc Ruby, are you here?
Good evening, Lateral.
Good evening, Ruby. Tell us how your race went, because we didn't have any eyes on Lobby B.
True. Well, my race was a little disappointing, but it was actually a full USA podium in Lobby B today. First place was Kujer 78. The second place was Pret J, and the third place was Minikonen, I think his name is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, full USA. I came in fourth, and Maddie came in fifth. So interesting race today.
All right, well, tell us how you went. How was your strategy? Were there any incidents you managed to notice within the first laps?
I started in third place. Apparently the golf has a poor start, so it wasn't that great. I fell back a few places, went to I think 7th or 8th. Then climbed my way up. I saw 2 people spinning off, so that was on the positive side for me. And then I had a hard time trying to catch Pretje. The guy has a very good race pace. Um, I kind of struggled. My tires were gone, and at the end, Mini Conan had the superior strategy on me. I started on the soft, and he finished on the soft, so he was able to overtake me in the end. So yeah, there you go. That was kind of my race.
All right. Well, one would say perhaps you didn't qualify as well as you thought you would have, as you mentioned earlier on in the broadcast. Are you going to happen to be racing at Monza this next Sunday? And do you feel you might actually qualify back in the Lobby A, where you perhaps feel you belong?
Where I belong. Well, thank you, Lateral. You know, you really see my quality in here. I'm gonna keep you to that. No, well, I think the competition has grew so hard this season. Also with the different picks, I think it's gonna be real tight as it was here at Red Bull. The cutoff for Tier A is gonna be, sorry, Lobby A is gonna be real tight. But I will definitely try hard to get in there because I want to be broadcasted on stream in that VW Golf and get the wind in my hair. You know, that's uh, that's the goal.
All right. Well, thank you for the driver interview and good luck on your next race.
Thank you, Literal.
All right. Let's move on to our final Tier B interview. Our Season 3 Tier C champion, Techno Guy.
Yeah, I did great. Not really.
All right. Well, how about you tell us how
What's the
your
first
race
question?
went today?
Well, I jumped Ruby at the start. That was pretty good. So I swept around the outside. I went to third place. I couldn't get past Predjay very well, and then by then Kujar just ran off. I spent the rest of the race kind of going a millimeter off track around the bull there at Rouch Corner, and lost about 10-20 seconds doing that overall. So I went backwards. I had a great fight with Robocopy at the end though, and he won out. So we had an hour of racing and split by 0.135 seconds. So that was pretty close. But that's all.
Well, looking at the qualifying list, you happened to qualify, as you mentioned, raced. You raced in Lobby B, but the cutoff was you were only roughly, I want to say, a tenth or two off of what we saw in Lobby A, and you're in the Corvette, and the next race is at Monza. Do you feel like perhaps you'll have the pace to finally stay in Lobby A?
Oh yeah, well, I didn't have much practice this week either, so which wasn't great. I was quite busy with other things, so hopefully I can do a single race sim at least next week, so I'm prepared. Because I was going in fairly blind here to this race, so we'll see how it goes next week. Fingers crossed for Labier.
All right. Well, hopefully we get to see you have some good luck there at Monza. We get to see you race in Lobby A. We represent the Tier C boys after being their champion.
Oh yeah, fingers crossed.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview.
No problem.
And looks like we have one more interview here, and that's going to be Eternicus representing Tier C. Eternicus, are you here? Hello, Eternicus. Well, it appears to me that Eternicus is not here, so it seems to me that this will be our conclusion to the driver interviews. We want to say thank you everyone for watching us here. It means a lot to us that you show up here. As we mentioned many times here in the driver interviews, the next round will be at Monza. That will be this next Sunday. Let me make sure if I get the exact date for you here. That will be Sunday, the 12th of, I believe it is April, correct? Yes, it is April. So there you go. The 12th of April on Sunday will be next round 2 at Monza. So we hope to see you join us there. But as we bring the stream to a close, we want to remind you to follow us on all of our social media. We are over on Twitter at arc_PS4. We like to post a lot of race images there, perhaps a few replays. Like to have a little bit of witty banter from time to time with perhaps some of the bigger names. So be sure to follow us there if you want to keep us updated. Be sure to like and subscribe to us here on YouTube. We have all of our streams, all of our backlog from previous seasons, a lot of our team versus team championships and individual events are on here, and even the odd in-between seasons, especially like our McGain Trophy Cup season, our MX5 championship, our Super Formula championship. Those are all also in our backlog of YouTube. So if you want to pass some of the time by that you may be spending here in quarantine, if you feel to feel free to perhaps go into our backlog and watch some of those races. They're all pretty damn good, if I say so myself. And finally, if you like what we do here, you want to participate ourselves, feel free to join us on Discord. There is a link in the description down below. So feel free to join us, do our rookie series, and make sure you pass, because that is a bit of a key here. And I know for some people that makes a bit of a turnoff, but that's what allows us to have the good racing that we have here, that we bring to you here on stream. So if you ever feel interested in what we're doing, or you just want to join in for a few races here and there, like we have our Friday night series or Saturday night series, or even a Monday Fun Day series, where it's just kind of, we race whatever, we have some fun, feel free to join in for those if you ever wish. And of course, feel free to check out our merch store on teespring.com/stores/adrenaline racing community. The link is exactly as shown there. The Adrenaline Racing community does need the dashes or it will not take you to the score. But as you see on screen, we have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers. It's all there if you want to feel free to support us. It does mean a lot to us. It helps dish out trophies at the end of the year for our drivers. It helps, it just helps immensely if you want to help us support our merch. I have a few hoodie myself, even a t-shirt. They're definitely super comfortable, so I can definitely vouch for them. But ladies and gentlemen, that will bring our stream to a close. We want to again say thank you for joining us. Feel free to hit the like and subscribe if you want to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll be the end for this one. My name has been Lateral G, and my co-commentator was my Savloy. And once again, remember to keep racing.